Hello, everyone. Welcome to Cosplay Photo Critique episode 23, 24. Oh, crap. 23, 23, 23. Okay, I was like, I can never remember what number. Because I'm usually booking for the next one before we start this one. So I'm like, 24. And wait, no, that's the next one. Shit. Um, how's everyone doing tonight there in chat? Glad you're here with us. And thank you, Riley, for coming back on the show.
Thank you for having me, you guys. Hi, everyone.
Absolutely. For those, just figure I mentioned up top, if the video feed looks a little choppy or a little delayed, that's not on your end. We're having some issues with Discord. We use Discord for video capture on
Nothing
this,
new. We always have technical difficulties.
Yeah, and it gave us a ton of problems last stream, and I compensated for most of them, and I'm still using those same compensations. So it's choppy. I'm going to be looking into a way to fix that for the next stream, but for now, our video feeds are a little choppier, but oh well, it's not a big deal. Especially because, I mean, most of the time you're looking at the photos anyways, so not a big deal.
Why am I so bad at Twitch? I'm trying to access the chat on your channel, and I, cannot find the chat. Hello?
What?
It's not showing up on the side of the screen.
On the right?
Twitch is like, you don't get to chat.
Reload it.
Not
Sometimes...
cool enough.
Oh, I can't see what anyone's saying.
We're talking about puppies.
Oh, okay. Love puppies.
Yeah. Oki Cosp got a new puppo, and it is adorable.
Yo, what the hell? Why can't I?
I think it was a Samoyed, right?
Oh, okay, there we go. Oh, okay.
Now I wrote episode 24 in the video feed for this, so hold on one second. Let me make sure that I'm not going crazy, or if I am just stupid. We'll figure this out in a second here. Okay, yeah, no, this is episode 24. Okay, good. Good. Cool. Not that it really matters to anyone but me. But okay, so Riley, how about we learn a bit more about you? I know you've been on in the recent history. I don't know, trying to remember what episode that was. It's probably been like half a year since then, though. So.
Oh God, is that really how time works? Oh
yeah,
man.
Let's hold on. Let me see. I'm gonna.
It was like October. So maybe September?
September 27th was the last time you were on. So it's...
Well, thank y'all for having me back. Time is an illusion.
Yeah. No, because in my mind, I was just like, yeah, you've been on pretty recently. Then I looked at it and I'm like...
Just kidding.
That's half a year. Oh, that's fine.
2019. So I'm entering my 9th year in cosplay photography. In Anime Boston will be my 9th year doing this professionally. I mean, I was like a high school senior, like waddling into Anime Boston, like with my camera in 2010. So it's almost been a decade, and really just
yikes.
Love what I do what I love. I'll be at Katsu, I'll be at Dragon Con and Otakon, and then I named a bunch of other cons that I want to go to, but I always do that, and then I'm like, traveling is traveling, and that's like a lot.
Yeah.
That's a mood.
Yeah.
I was thinking about like C2E2, but that's like next month. And I know Alex goes to that too, so
that's my neck of the woods, so I'll be
there.
Yeah. Probably just Saturday only. C2E2's like, as someone who mostly goes to anime cons, C2E2 is a very different con because it is a comic con.
Yeah, there's that.
Some people love it. I'm just okay on it, but I'm not a big comic person, so like take my opinion with a grain of salt there because it's just not my specific niche.
Yeah.
If you're into the stuff that they're doing, though, I am of the understanding that it's really awesome. The venue is like it's kind of hard to find good photo locations, but it's so huge that you can like find a location where like nobody is and like have no problems. Because I want to say it's
sounds nice.
It's the second biggest convention center in the U.S. I want to say.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's huge. Let me.
I've never been to Chicago either, so like that was the whole thing. I don't know.
I stand corrected. McCormick Place is the largest convention center in North America.
McCormick Place?
Yeah, it's in Chicago for C2. That's where C2E2 is. It's
okay.
Yeah, it's daunting sometimes because it's not like other large convention centers which are like multiple floors. Like this is just like separate like buildings that are interconnected, and you can be like, like if you park like too far away, you're like, where the like it feels like labyrinthian to find your car, and you're like, where the hell did I park?
God, yeah, I'd never been to Chicago. It looks like very big and kind of scary, but I've been trying to get myself there, but I don't know if March is exactly the time in which I want to acquaint myself.
It can be great. It can be terrible. You got to flip a coin. In terms of weather. In terms of it's strictly in terms of weather. I remember a Floridian friend of mine was there during one of the years it was like 50 degrees out, and she was
okay, but Floridians also wear Ugg boots when it's 70 degrees out.
I know, it's hilarious.
That's not a good gauge at all.
Okay, I have more questions.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, we could like went on a total tangent with C2E2 there, but trying to get back on track.
Yes, sir.
As much of a track as we can be on here. How would you, Riley? How would you describe your shooting style?
My shooting style. I mean, my shooting style, like how I approach as a photographer with my client, like in the experience they have, or kind of like the finished photos I look to have.
Whichever one you feel is easier to answer.
All right. I actually don't really know how to describe my photo style, but my like shooting style in which I work with people, I usually just approach a shoot at a con where time is a little bit crunched and I might not know the person at first. I just like to kind of ask first and foremost, like, what are you most proud of with your costume, and what is like a specific aspect of it that you want to bring out, whether it's like this like train that you worked on, or maybe the movement and like the layering of the fabric, or this armor you worked really hard on, or tooled leather, or whatever. So like I just try to establish like what their needs are and what their priorities are.
From you. That's so smart.
Yeah, no, that's really solid.
I've never thought of asking that, even though I'm a cosplayer.
Well, I'm not a cosplayer. I don't consider, like, not really. So like,
More of a cosplayer than I am.
I've always just tried to approach it from a really kind of clinical perspective. Like, what can I do to do my best for this person in the time that we have? And so, you know, I love to think about these people like working on their sakizos or like their ombre dyeing or something, and thinking about like the photos that they're going to get, or the photos that they want to get from all of this hard work that they're doing. And so job pretty much to make them happy. And that's, for me, that's like when I'm doing a professional con shoot, that's like my main priority. Yeah, my priority is to take like unique pictures that will make me stand out, but like it's not about me at all. And you know, even if the client chooses their edits that I'm not particularly crazy about and I don't think are like maybe the best like 3 images, it's the 3 best or the 5 best that like they feel the best in. So I guess like that's my shooting style, is I try to establish their needs and then I just try to target those needs. And I definitely am kind of the photographer. I didn't used to do this, but like in the past few years, I've started really showing them lots of back of the camera previews throughout the shoot, because I hate being photographed. I hate it. And
really?
I despise being in front of the camera, which is so weird because I started photography with self-portraiture.
That seems like a roundabout way into this.
That's a whole other thing, but like anyway, I started with like the self-portraiture like as like a senior in high school, and that was really fun and I liked it. And then my just stuff happened and things changed. But like I really don't like how I am on like look on camera, so I want to make sure that like when I'm being shot, I like to like know what is happening behind the camera. I like to just know. So I am always showing people like I'll take maybe 5 photos at the beginning and immediately show it to them and be like, how are this looking like when we first start, I'll take like a full body and then like a waist up and be like, hey, you know your costume better than I do. Is there anything you want to fix right now? And I'll zoom in on stuff and they'll be like, oh yeah, you know what? I actually need to like tuck in this part. And you're like, they'll know it better than I do. So they just kind of fix themselves up and then we just get the ball rolling.
God, we need more people like you. God damn it.
That is
that felt like a really long answer.
No, but it was also an excellent answer. That is some awesome advice, and I know I'm gonna be storing some pieces of that up here, and hopefully they actually stay there.
Well, because I think you made it like more relatable to them, because I know I'll be like, are there any photos that you want out of the shoot? But I think connecting it back to their costume, I think will help. Helps a lot.
To me, that was the interesting part of like, hey, really trying to target what they enjoy about their cosplay and trying to have that be a big focus. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. And it's a different kind of approach with like for fun shoots that I do like on location when like I just need to scratch a creative itch or something. We might just focus more on the narrative than, the construction. Like for instance, Katsucon, which is my biggest of the year, and people are like busting it wide open with the shit they've been working on. Like we want to capture everything that they've been slaving over. So like those kind of become my top priority over like say making an image that's like unlike anything else.
Yeah,
like
and it's hard as shit to be creative at Katsucon at this point anyways with how crowded it is.
Yeah, I definitely at Katsucon, I have a cycle. I have places I like to hit every single time for shoots because I know that that's a great place to frame people. And like everyone's shots aren't going to look exactly the same, but they're going to be typically in like the same 5 to 6 places because that's just how Katsu works.
It's just an efficient way to work too when you have such like so many shoots back to back and such a crowded.
Yeah.
Fluffy Fox Photo, thank you so much for that Twitch Prime sub. Appreciate it.
Feel better.
Feel better.
Feel better. Yes, I'm sorry to hear that you're sick, but I guess watching a critique is a good way to chill through it. Okay. Riley, do you shoot anything outside of cosplay?
Yes, I am a full-time wedding photographer. So yeah, I love shooting. My wedding photography is RileyWestPhoto.com, where I shoot weddings. Actually, wherever love takes you is where all these like traveling wedding photographers say, but like mood. Mostly I'm shooting in like Boston, and I go back home to North Carolina to shoot weddings, and I potentially got one in Florida coming up. So like, want to fly me somewhere, I'll shoot your wedding. But for now it's pretty like regional. So I've been doing that for about 2 years now, and that's been great. And other than cosplay, I shoot weddings. I'm trying to get back into like shooting fashion and like just portraiture again. Like I haven't done that in so long. That used to be like my thing, and then cosplay sort of just took over. But that's not currently what I'm shooting. But I'm trying, so like keep an eye out. I might actually like do something different for a change. But yeah.
I hate weddings. I hate shooting weddings.
I was just talking about how cosplay photography and wedding photography are such different beasts because like for instance at Katsu, I've got all these shoots back to back, with like little like 10-minute breaks in between, and I'm like looking at my schedule and I'm like, okay, this is like 5 hours of shooting. And I try to comfort myself because I'm like, that's okay. Like I've been shooting like 10-hour weddings, 8-hour weddings, but like weddings, the day happens and you photograph it. There's an hour where you'll pull the couple out like collectively. There'll be like an hour to do like photos of them both, and like family portraits don't count. They all just stand there and smile. So like otherwise it's just like kind of photojournalism, and you kind of just shoot the day as it happens, and it's physically exhausting, but creatively not so much. Whereas like cosplay photography, like
dude,
I
like
enter a 20-minute shoot.
These still life photos you do though are so good.
Thank you.
Rings.
In general, as someone who's shot very few weddings, I think a lot of the approach to that is like you kind of get a system down, and and like for me, why I don't like weddings is because it's like not most of the time you're spent just like kind of feel like you're in the system, you're processing through, you're not shooting anything that's really creative. Like it's maybe a little bit of mildly creative, but then there's that like small fraction of time where you pull the couple out and you're just like, okay, we're gonna do awesome creative photos, and that's the section I love. But then and then you go back to taking photos that are not so much fun.
I have this oh my god, don't get me started on like I don't like shooting reception. I hate shooting like speeches. That part is boring to me because I also feel like very invasive in that moment. But before then, very photojournalistic approach, and I've always had that part of me that loves to tell a story, which sounds so like I love to tell stories, but like for real, like I like that this is the whole event that's happening, and weddings are weddings. They've got like their formulas, but they all happen in a different way.
This one has a doggo.
Yes, there was a doggo at a wedding.
He's all dressed up.
He was a very warm dog. It was like this hot September day, and he was like this collie that was like in a suit, and he's like, I don't like this. But I was saying that like cosplay and wedding is just so different because like obviously, but like what I'm saying is it might be 8 hours of shooting a wedding and I'm physically exhausted, but like it's constant talking and communicating and working with like the person and making sure that like you're getting 5 to 10 different poses of like these of like X amount of angles, and like making sure like that they're happy. And then okay, that 20 minutes is up, like my shoots are 20 minutes, and then it's like okay, so I've got another one I need to establish their needs. So like it's a constant like it's a lot.
I think a big part of that too, why that can be so creatively exhausting, is if you're like me, when you just shot a set, you don't like, there's something in me that I can't turn around and go, okay, all those ideas that I just did were awesome. I can't use them again. I just did that for one shoot.
Yeah.
And now I have to come up with completely new ideas that are separate for for the next shoot.
Yeah,
and I do reuse some things, but there's something that I feel about that, like when I'm doing that I try as my hardest not to recycle ideas at like a con, which can, by the end of like a weekend, you can be like, I am out of creativity. It is all like, gone. No, it is fully depleted.
Recycling is good for the environment. I'm recycling. It's happening. Creative recycling. No, but I totally get that. And I love hearing everybody else's different approach to crazy con weekends. I know that my approach is much different than, someone else's, or, someone just starting out, or, I mean, even you guys, seem to take it a lot, like, more, like, slowly than, like, sometimes I tend to, like, just pack a lot into a weekend. And so, it can be very creatively exhausting by the end of it, but, like, also it's just so rewarding. Like, this sounds so corny, but like I can't wait to like make all these people smile. I just love the feeling of like showing someone the back of the camera and like
they freak out,
seeing their face. It's like so great. It's like the best feeling.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I feel like my back of the camera photo shots are never that good. It's like
me. Maybe not to you, but like
are any of ours good? Yeah.
Like, they love that shit. So, like,
because at the end of the day, like, we're showing back a camera. It's not whether they're happy.
Yeah. And so I might be limping by the end of the day, but I'm like, my heart is so full, but my brain is like so empty. Like,
that's a mood.
Okay, let's see. Answered that question. Okay, what's a cosplay that you've always wanted to shoot?
Gosh. It's so hard to think. I think the last time, I think I'm just gonna default to like the last thing I said last time, which was like, just give me Sakizo in Venice. Like,
oh my god, that'd
give
be
me that shit.
amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Shit.
Or like, I think I'm just gonna default to the shit I said last time, which was that, and then like on location, like Final Fantasy IX, like the ice castles. I think I told you guys about that last time. Would love to do that in New Hampshire with like a Garnet and a Zidane, and you know
Oh
that
my
would just be
god,
so
that'd be
fun.
dank.
So we've got some ice castles that are back here in Wisconsin. They finally came back. The problem I've found is that they sell out really fast.
Oh,
And
really?
I was like shocked about that. Like apparently the first like when they opened, like the first 3 weekends were sold out. I was just like,
Damn.
dang it.
So you weren't able to get tickets at all for this year?
Well, I was planning on doing a big group shoot there, but that kind of like I feel like threw that idea a little bit under the bus because like trying to get a big group shoot there with like it selling out that fast kind of felt like an impossible thing with
Possible.
Jeez, yeah,
That's
a
wild.
bummer.
No, it is, but oh well. Such is life.
Such is life. So probably those two, but like I'm sure that if I thought about this, like I'm gonna shoot up in the middle of the night and like out of my sleep and be like, no, it was that I've always wanted to shoot.
Please.
Like go like hack into your Twitch and go live and be like, this is Riley, like this is the shit I've always wanted to shoot.
This is what I actually meant to say.
Yeah.
So, and the last and most important question I have for you is, could you tell me about your feelings about Kingdom Hearts 3 being on the Unreal 4 engine? I'm just kidding. We got a little too deep into that before the stream. It was kind of great. No, my last question for you is, and I think you already answered this, so maybe last time I asked the same question, but hopefully either you have the same thing or a new piece of advice is what one piece of advice would you give to photographers, beginner or otherwise?
Oh, didn't I have a really like solid answer last time? And now I'm
Probably.
like,
you always have solid advice, so no matter what you say, it's gonna be great.
Okay. I mean, I think probably if you're approaching like a professional shoot, whether you're new or seasoned, I guess just try to communicate with your client and understand that if it's a paid shoot, and this is a subjective, but if it's a paid shoot, it's not about what you want. Someone's paying you for a service and they're hoping to get something out of it, and it's your job to find that out. And just because I don't know, I mean, just because you're rolling onto the scene charging, X amount of dollars for an hour-long shoot doesn't mean that like you can kind of call all the shots. Haha, no pun intended. But like you understand that like someone is paying you as a professional and you should act like one in such a way that like you're making sure you're giving your edits back to people. Been hearing a lot about that. Isn't that what we talked about last time? I think we got into that.
I mean,
that's always a problem.
That's a big theme, unfortunately.
We love people who don't return paid photo shoots.
Yeah, so that's a thing. But like just I think consistent communication with your client. If they're paying you, they're a client. You need to treat them like one, which means, just and provide for those needs.
Don't be an asshole.
Yeah. I mean, TLDR, don't be an asshole.
Really, like, don't be an asshole. It's collaborative. The end. It's not that
It's collaborative. Thank you for that. Yeah, no, it's a collaboration, and I feel like when some people like think that photography comes with this like ego that is just because you're holding a camera, you're entitled to things, and you're not. Like, so just don't be an asshole. I guess
love you.
I'm kind of digging my own grave. But like I feel like I'm not vaguing at anyone. It's just like this is just cumulative shit that I've just thought of over the years. It's like, and things that I've seen mostly actually outside of the cosplay scene. But like bringing that back into the cosplay realm, just make sure that you're treating your client like a client, and if edits communicate with them, let them know. There's that. I think
Yeah,
that's
awesome.
my advice.
Thank you for all of that. Your answers were excellent as always.
Thank you.
With that, let's do just a little bit of housekeeping stuff, and then we'll get into the actual critique. Let me see. Hopefully, my chat buttons are working this week, because they weren't last time, because God hates me. So as always, if you have a guest that you would like to see on the stream, we are always taking suggestions for guests. That doesn't mean that we will be able to get said guest, but at least to know that we are looking and taking suggestions. So if people want to, God damn it, Riley! I just saw a comment in chat. Legit, we spent a while talking about Unreal 4 before the stream.
I have some unpopular opinions, apparently. Fine, it's fine.
It's fine. No, it's totally fine. But I have pasted the link for guest suggestions because my buttons apparently are not working again. I should expect this at this point. As always, chat, please feel free to talk to us and critique along with us. It's awesome when we have you guys being active and giving your thoughts on photos. It just adds extra dimension. We'll try and follow chat and add your feedback as we see it, but that doesn't necessarily mean we'll be able to get to everything, but we will try. Also, I don't know if you're giving me suggestions in the chat, don't do that way, because I will, for photographers, I will not remember that. Just fill out that form that I posted the link to in the chat, because yeah, that's that's not happening. Also, just as a reminder, because I know there's some people viewing on Facebook, I'm not looking at chat on Facebook, only on Twitch. So just as a friendly reminder about that. Last thing, if you want to help out this stream, if you enjoy it, if you are watching it regularly, or even just every once in a while, we greatly appreciate that. But the things that could really help is if you're feeling generous, giving a donation or a sub to the channel, especially if you have Twitch Prime or Amazon Prime, because if you have Amazon Prime, that means you have Twitch Prime, which means you have one free sub to give to a streamer of your choice every month. So if you have that, why not me? That said, it's by no means an obligation, but greatly appreciate it. Other things that you can do to help if you enjoy these streams is, one, share these streams, because we're trying to grow the audience and get more people to submit to the critique. It's hard to do a critique if we don't have enough photos to do the critique off of. So the more people that watch, the more people we'll have as a base for the critique, so we can keep doing this. And when I say share, sharing on social media is great, but telling your fellow cosplay photographers and even cosplayers about this helps a lot more. We all know kind of how social media is going lately, so letting someone know in actual real life can go a long way versus just clicking that share button on Facebook. And yeah, I think that is everything. Let us jump into some photos.
Woo!
Okay, so this first one is from A Piece of Light. Yes, and Sarah, why don't you take us away on this one?
Excited because we have another fun photo from Sav, who always somehow makes these crazy light situations work, and I don't understand how. I really like how colorful this image is. Usually I try to like limit myself to like a certain amount of colors I have per photo, but this one literally has like the rainbow spectrum, but it still like works in my opinion, especially because it's like that holiday feel and it's like very festive and kind of like glittery feeling for a lack of yeah, I like how this like looks like it was like a tunnel of Christmas lights. I'm not really sure, but I like how it's kind of like framing her and kind of like encapsulating her. Yeah. One thing though is I think I actually don't really mind that the green is hitting her face like this. Usually I'm like, oh my god, green tone skin. This is not a good look. But actually, this one doesn't really bother me. The only thing is, I think because there are so many lights going on, it's hard to like even out the skin. Not really sure what's happening, but I think it could have been smoothed out like a little bit better.
I do think there was an attempt to skin soften because like if you zoom in, like the details on her skin feel like super lost,
super blurry.
But like
yeah,
it's super blurry. But like at the same time, her like eyes are still in focus, her lips are still in focus.
Yeah. Something's just not quite.
Yeah. So what I would say about this is like I think what the problem here is that this lost all the texture, but that's the texture probably wasn't where the problem was. It's in the like shadow transitions kind of thing where there's
this is a tricky one.
Yeah, because there are like pink shadows, blue shadows, and like the highlights. Like I'm sure this was like a nightmare too.
Yeah, I approaching this, I would have been like, how do I like do this?
Yeah, it's. That said, I don't think I still think it would be not I think it wouldn't be as hard as you guys are making out to be as long as you're using like something like frequency separation. I could see this not being too bad. I say that and then without having to actually have to do it. So
yeah. It's just like a lot of different like colors to take into account while trying to smooth it out and have it like make sense with all of the colors that like are in it and where the light is coming from. I think would probably be a little difficult, but that's really my only like my like critique. Overall, I think it's a fun image. Like I said, I would not expect all these colors to work together somehow.
I agree.
I feel the same way. I feel like so, as a Christmassy photo, assuming she's wearing something Santa Clausy Christmassy, like that feels a little at odds to the Christmas feel. Like even though there's lights, I don't. That's being pretty nitpicky. I don't really have a huge problem at that. The one area that I would say that does bother me a little bit is her pose. There's some things. One is her like chin position. Like she kind of has her chin up and back. I would like to see her chin out further from her neck. It would just give it kind of a little bit more definition to her jawline. And right now it just kind of feels like she's pulling her like chin up and back a little bit, which isn't the most flattering. The other thing is I would just like to see her hands at different levels because right now they're on the same like almost the same plane. I would like to see one like higher than the other.
And I was actually at first going to compliment the posing because I think that it's very cohesive to the overall mood and her expression. Like it feels consistent with what the shooter is trying to establish, but I totally see that now. I got so distracted by the bokeh that like, you know, like the hands at the same level, I totally didn't notice at first, but yeah, that would be one thing I would change. Otherwise, I do like the body language here and good catch on the chin. For some reason, and I have it too when I'm in front of the camera, like we think that like doing this is like good when it's I got to catch everyone every time and be like, you know, chin up. Just I always am saying that throughout the shoot is chin up. But otherwise, I really do like how there is this spiral kind of in the left side of the image. The lines are really good with the bokeh. There's a lot happening, but it doesn't feel like in a way that it's that I'm like, what are words? It doesn't feel like it's hurting the image at all. There's a lot happening, but like on this green that's on her face, I don't know how I would fix it. That's the thing. I didn't want to critique, like, I don't like how this green is reflected on her, but like, I wouldn't know how to approach countering that or avoiding it even while shooting. So
Yeah.
I think this is a fun image.
I think maybe if you upped the color of the so she's got like those pinks that are just hitting the one side of her face. I think maybe if you upped the saturation on those a little bit, that might help counterbalance, because then you feel like all the colors are super saturated there, and it kind of makes a little bit more sense. Just a thought. Got another fairly nitpicky thing. The bokeh is really awesome in this, and I think correct me if I'm wrong. I'm like 99% sure I'm right, but not all the bokeh in this is real. It looks very convincing given all the lights.
No, it's not real.
Yeah,
because I've used the same similar textures before.
Yeah. So, and most of the photo, it's very well executed. However, there's a bit by the top of her head, where like the bokeh overlay texture, like it looks like you tried to brush it out, but like a little bit's like fading out as it's going over the top of her head. I'll screen share here, like this bit here where it's like starting to fade out. Like you should just have been like all this section here where you can just kind of see where it's probably was a layer mask and it was brushed out a little bit. But because you see it, but because you see the bokeh fading off, like that's like the key. That, oh no, that's not real. If you're gonna do that, just make sure that like either the bokeh is fully visible, or like the bokeh balls are not, like they're either there or they're not.
Sorry, I would keep wanting to call you Vaughn. Andrew, I feel like you'd be really good at those I Spy books. Are you really good at those I Spy books?
I mean, I can't say I've done one since like
you've never
middle school.
I thought you meant like you've never done an I Spy book. No, I just feel like
I mean, it's been quite a while. It's also funny though, because sometimes I'll show up to like events and especially in like the skiing community, someone will be like, "Hey, Vontography," and I'm just like, "Okay, sure, this is fine." it's just funny sometimes when you're called by your handle and like you're just like, oh, because I'm not used to anyone calling me that in my day-to-day life, and then someone's just like, "Oh, hey," and I'm like, oh yeah, sure, I guess that's my name in some ways. Okay, you guys got any final thoughts on this one? Cool, let's move on to the next shot. This one is from Mary or Marie, I don't know. I'm sorry if I've said it both ways, so one of them is certainly wrong.
Marie.
Fiora, oh god, I'm just gonna butcher names. Fiora, thank you so much for that Twitch Prime sub, greatly appreciated. Riley, why don't you start us off on this one? Riley, did you get muted again?
Hello.
Yep,
hello.
you're there.
Hello.
Yep.
Hello.
Oh god.
You're good. Can you hear us?
Oh no, now I can't hear y'all.
Oh lord.
Shit.
Oh no.
Oh, I can't hear you.
Well, this is awkward.
Oh no. Oh no.
At least we can hear you freaking out.
Disconnect and call back on Discord. Oh no. Can you hear me? Because I can't
Yeah.
hear
Yes,
you.
we can
God.
hear you.
Okay, maybe I'll just talk. Maybe I'll just talk and like fuck what y'all have to say.
Can you guys
No.
hear her?
I literally can't hear anything
Yeah,
right
no,
now.
they can hear her because I can hear her. This
I
is
don't.
kind of
Okay.
hilarious.
Should I just punt? I'm just gonna punt. I'm just gonna
How
talk.
about you?
First of all,
God damn it,
yes,
she can't hear me. Why am I talking?
floor. A fucking floor because I said so. I love that.
Oh my god.
I do like that there's a lot to view here with like the music sheets, and there's this beautiful body language. I love the delicacy of the expression and the hands. Let's see. I am kind of like improvising right here because I do remember seeing this image and like really liking it. I it's also hard to kind of critique a specific shot without having seen, like, it's hard to critique the way someone shoots just by looking at one image. When I'm like shooting weddings and I'm having my friend critique, she's looking at like 3,000 images that I'm taking, and she's like, okay, I can see that like you're doing this a lot, and that's how you shoot, and you can change it by doing this. So I can't really critique like the way you approach a shoot, but like with this specific shot that you culled and chose to edit, I would have loved to see maybe like eyes closed for one, just because I don't know, I feel like that maybe would have worked with the body language, but I like this image to begin with. I feel as though it looks a little flat. I can't, oh god, she has AirPods and fuck, she can't hear us. And so what was I saying? Oh yeah, contrast. I would add more contrast to this. It just feels a little flat to me. And yeah, I would love to figure out why I can't hear you guys though. I'm a little focused on that right now, but that was kind of my piece is also I don't know why that red wig. I don't know how it's supposed to look when you're not laying down, but it just feels like it's set a little bit strangely. But I mean, I don't know who this character is, so there's that. But I think it sticks out pretty well because you've got this red background with this red wig, and it still sticks out great. So I would just add a little bit more depth to it. Yeah, that's my piece. Riley, disconnect and reconnect real quick. Okay.
Hopefully Discord doesn't die.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Well, this is gonna. I mean, we're gonna have to deal with it being
Oh, I hear you.
Oh, hey! Woo!
Yay!
Hell yeah!
Sorry,
Back
so
in
I totally
business.
monologue.
I'm Chez Photo now. Oh no, not anymore.
Oh.
I got really excited.
Sorry. I totally just monologued off. I was like, I'm just gonna do my critique and then I'll figure it out later.
Yeah,
That's
no, it's not a
fine.
big deal. It's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. Everything's
All right,
fine.
so it happens when I mute my mic because I started choking because of course I would because I'm on stream and why wouldn't I just randomly start choking? And so I muted my microphone and then fucked everything up. Anyway,
No more muting.
moving on.
We're good. We're good. Alexa, play Sweet Victory.
Whoa.
I like the oh fuck, she has AirPods and she can't hear.
Yeah.
I would like to say that I agree with most of your sentiments on this photo. I think this is a case of a shot where I'd like to see like the lighting just is a bit flat. Like I think with a bit more dramatic lighting this could look really cool. I loved your idea of eyes closed as well.
Yeah.
Yes. Close them eyes, get on the floor, everybody do the dinosaur.
Yeah, sure, that.
Is that how the song goes?
Sure.
Sure.
There was some pieces in here. Commentary. I thought this was cool. The sheet music is Chopin and Kingdom Hearts sheet music, which I thought was kind of fun.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Hell
Fuck
yeah.
The other thing I would say is that the cosplayer on the top, I feel like they were captured fairly well. The one on the bottom, not quite as much. Laying down photos are just freaking hard.
Really hard to do. Unless you're Riley, but
Stop.
God, I want to learn how to do them, but like half the time I feel like I just suck at them.
Can I tell you how I learned how to do it? It was my first
Yes, please.
It was my first Katsucon in the winter of 2000. I don't know. I don't remember. But And I was shooting a friend, and she had her. I was up on top, and like I was on gazebo level, and you know how there's like the trees coming out of like the little cubes that you can stand on top of. And so I was doing that, and her feet were towards me, and her head was away from me.
Yep.
How you do this? And then
that's
someone
a
walked
recipe for
by.
disaster. Yeah.
And someone walked by. They're like, actually, it works better if her head is towards you. And I was like, be quiet, mind your business. and I didn't actually say that, but I was like, okay, let's try it. And then we did, and I mean, I don't know, this is not like a huge life-changing story. She just flipped, and the rest is history. But I mean, it took a little bit of a learning curve, because I was like, oh yes, lay down on the floor, this will look great. Like, no, please don't ever shoot anyone laying down on the floor like with their feet like towards you. Not that this photo is that, but
no, the biggest problem with them is like most of the time you're trying to do that, you're shooting with a wider angle lens, and if you angle those wrong, you will get distortions and it'll look stupid.
Yeah,
so
I found that my most success with those are with a 50 or a 35. My favorite lay down on the floor shot was of a Vaporeon Gajinka, and that was full body at Katsu that I could get with the 35.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, otherwise, like, it's hard to get.
Yeah, I think my favorite one I've ever done, I had a ladder, and it was with a 70 to 200.
Dude, I like have nightmares about trying to do my lay down on the floor shots at Katsu, and like someone being like, get out, like get off, you can't do those anymore. And I'll be like, no, I need this. Like,
I need my floor photo.
Yeah, but anyway, no, I do like this shot. I would love to see some more definition, and the hotel lighting is just like hotel lighting, so I feel that.
So,
but
Ara brought up a good point that she's not sure how she feels about the white, the whites having a color cast to them, and I agree, and I think that's kind of what is contributing to the flatness of the photo. I said this in chat already, but I like how there's like these contrasting colors. Like you have the navy, the red, and the white, and the gold. Like they're colors that really pop against each other. It's like almost kind of like graphic feeling. If that makes any sense. I think the white would have been really nice to add that contrast depth. So
yeah, it's got a very some pinkish hues to it overall. So
yeah.
I like that the top subject is like looking. I like that like they're looking down, kind of. The lower subject like with their eyes closed. That would look lovely. But otherwise, I do find this to be a unique dynamic image.
Yeah. The other comment that I would have that this gets a little nitpicky is hands. I actually like the hands that are touching. I think those actually work fairly well.
Fucking tender.
The hands that are on both of their chests though, those look a little dead, for lack of a better term at the moment. I think just like if the fingers were, you know, this as that kind of like gentle fingers would help that read a lot better, instead of just like hand flat on the chest where it just kind of looks like just coffin hands is a good way to put it.
Yeah.
I pledge allegiance to the anime.
No, Riley. Oh shit.
I will give my little speech on that technique that I find really helpful with getting that hand pose. Is if you want people to have that really nice hand pose, you have them make a fist and then just slowly release it, and that hand position that you and your fingers end up in, once you've fully released it, it's just kind of just that nope, and you just kind of end up in this position, and that's kind of just the lovely hand position. Freaking Bobo, I was waiting for you to say something. He likes to call it my patented fisting technique. But we'll not go there. And with that, let's move on. You guys got any other thoughts on the shot before we move on to the next one?
I'm good.
Yeah.
I think the last thing, is it just me, or does the tie flooping off to the side bother you guys at all?
It does, but not enough to like.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't bother me because if not, it would have been either over the hand or under the hand.
Yeah.
And that would have bothered me more.
Yeah,
than
it's one of those
tie.
things that I'm like, it bothers me, but I just don't know the better option for it. So I'm like, so I didn't say anything till now.
I think it creates more. I mean, if I like the line that it creates because
me too.
Like anywhere else, it wouldn't have worked. Is basically my opinion.
Solid point. Okay, let's move on to the next shot. This one is from Hail the Nanator. Oh, I forgot to share the Flickr link on the last photo. I'm sorry, guys. Let's share the Flickr link on this one. Cool. There we go. And then I am up on this one. Let me make sure I have it up on my computer. Too much shit's going on. So I really like the direction of this shot. The kind of like graphic style that this image is going for, I think is really neat. The pink, like blues and yellow just all have this really fun vibe that I really dig. That said, I think this is a case of like a shot that you're on the right path. I want to see you take it further. The biggest thing is I try and find a situation where this looks like a shot that was probably taken at a con, like along the wall of a hotel, and the lighting wasn't particularly great. I would really like, if you're just trying to find a wall to be up against, I would just try and find something where you have a little bit better lighting to work with, because it does look particularly grainy. The other things that I would say though is like, I want to see you like lean in on this shot in terms of like how graphic it is. I would think it would be really cool, instead of having like the wall behind them, you fully cut them out and just have them be on like a solid color wash. I think would potentially look really neat. Oki Cosplay in chat said another thing that I was going to get to as well, which I think is super strong, is that those lines through the image, I would like to see them thicker. Right now they feel a little, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it, anemic. Just by bumping up their size, give them a bit more weight. The other thing to pay attention to is when you're photoshopping those lines and having them go, one line's going behind the person. Come on, screen share button. There we go. Really make sure that you're like being cautious about like how it's going through, because like right now it's not super convincing that it's going behind the person. Like the masking job was not super great, and this only takes like an extra, like if you just polygon lasso tool and boom, you'd be good with the layer mask. Right now it just doesn't read quite as like it's going behind them, just because there's too much like areas that are still showing. Like you can actually see a little bit of it like right here on the arm.
Since you're zoomed in,
yep.
Can you go to the top left corner?
Sure. Top left corner.
It looks like they composite. Like I don't think this is like the caution tape like getting.
Yeah,
twisted.
no, that's definitely like some like weird. You can especially tell because you zoom in and you see that there's grain on this section of the photo, but there's no grain here.
Yeah. I don't really know what's going on there.
I imagine the shot probably just like didn't have enough tape, so you had to extend a little bit. It's in an area where it probably wouldn't bother me that much because upper left. But yeah,
I only noticed because I think what makes it, at least for me, is that you have these letters that say words, and when I saw that word was like not
I mean, that's a word. It says crime synonym.
Crime.
Exactly.
God, Sarah, do you not know words?
There's also one on the right. It looks like, I'm not really sure, but there's like a brush tool going on or something.
Yeah, it's like
I'm
an
not really
attempt
sure.
to. I don't know what's going on there either. I'll screen share as well, where it's like. Just like
this photo is like very striking. Like it is something if I was like scrolling through like social media or like in a magazine, like I would stop because the colors are like super nice.
Yeah.
But like cleaning it up and kind of like as a whole, I think a mark was missed.
Yeah. I would love to see you, like, you've got the strong saturation in the pinks and the yellows. I'd love to see that saturation like also popped in the hair.
Agreed.
For me, agree with all the good things that everyone said. The lines here are great. I mean, I find that this has a unique feel that you don't see a lot in cosplay photography, is when you add just straight up just lines to an image, and you know, your intentions are great. I love what you're going for, and I think that everything that people are pointing out are just great ways to make a good shot even better. What I would love to see, and I don't know this character, isn't she kind of a little crazy?
She's a little psycho.
Yeah, I don't know the character, but
So I want to see more like in this pose, like maybe arms crossed and like there's tape, there's like more tension in the tape. Like maybe one is loose, but like another one is like around her neck, or like have more fun with it. Maybe have like more tension in that tape, because really fun potential, and I would love to see just have fun with it, get crazy, and like, you know, make her laugh, and then if she laughs, she'll look like she's laughing and like wrapped in this like caution tape, and like, you know, that's something that I would change, and maybe you did that again. I don't know what your other shots look like. I only know the one that you chose to edit. That this has a great setup, and I just want to see a little bit more from the pose, and maybe like, I even think that as well, the fact that the caution tape is coming from 2 different, like, heights, I think that's great, because we were just talking about kind of, like, hands being at the same height for, like, the Ustav's photo. So, like, I like that there's this, you know, with how these lines are happening, but I just wanna see a little more tension.
For those of you guys in chat who can, I want to see them Dutch angle emotes. This is funny because we always talk about Dutch angle on this show. But I actually think this is a case of a photo that works fairly well with Dutch angle. Those diagonal lines that they added, the pink diagonal lines, like, work really well. Like, if this photo were straight and they wanted to match the kind of diagonal lines with how the tape was going, it would just be like a lot more boring. You don't have a horizon line to really make it feel like they're, you know, the world is tipping over. The way they're posing, kind of leaning off to the side, it just all kind of lends itself well to the Dutch angle ness of this shot.
Overall, I think this is really fun job, and, you know, I think with these improvements, honestly, like, this is why I never do anything except, like, color grading and minor face retouching, because I don't know anything that you guys were just kinda guiding her on, so Imma let you take care of that, but just do what they said.
Stop.
Got that. But yeah, I do like a lot of what's happening here, and I think that it's in character. From what I've seen of this character, you've got these. I love the yellow and the pink, and it's got this great editorial vibe that's also like loyal to cosplay photography, and so yeah.
Fiora asked if it's tilted enough back to be a Dutch angle. I think my judgment there as to whether she's leaning back or if it's a Dutch angle, you can judge based on how her hair is falling. If she was leaning back, her hair would be with gravity, so it would be going straight down, but it's not. It's going at an angle. So thus, we have a Dutch angle. Just thought I'd clear that up, because that's part of the reason why I think it works, though, because it does kind of feel like she's leaning back all crazy. And that's why it works as a Dutch angle. Sorry, just wanted to Put that in there. Okay, you guys got any other thoughts on this one before we move on to the next shot?
I'm good.
Awesome. Okay, let's go on to the next shot. This one is from Bloom Photog. And Sarah, why don't you lead us off here?
I feel like the theme this time is going to be laying down.
Yes.
I know, I live for it. I think this is like a really pretty image, especially for Fire Emblem Awakening. Because I always find like the relationships from that game are very like intimate, and I like how they're portraying that in this shot. Whether you can pair them off or not doesn't matter. I really like how clean the image feels, and it feels just really soft and dreamy. And I just realized her eyes are closed, which we were just talking about with the other one, and I really like it. Yeah. Because laying down poses are hard to do, and I think this is an example. The cosplayers, they look really good. So I really appreciate that they were able to lay them down in such a way where it doesn't like look awkward or feel uncomfortable when you look at it, because I feel like when I do it, that's what it feels like. Bad. One thing I'm not really sure about is this is such like a dumb thing to point out, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I really don't like how the Tharja's hair is laid out. It like kind of because her hair is like is just like it's not in like twin tails or anything or pony. It's like just straight and down. So I think it's kind of weird that it's been like so sectioned off, but at the same time, I can kind of see where they were going with it because
to me, it's like
the Robin
making a W.
Yeah. Oh well, it is. Because like the Robin's hair is like the twin tail style, and like that is coming out. So I'm thinking maybe they were trying to balance out. I'm not entirely sure. But I think while the poses are nice, I think like the hair and the costume themselves could have been laid out a little bit differently. Yeah, those are my initial thoughts.
Yeah, I feel the same way in terms of laying things out with the hair, but also the Tharja's cape.
Yeah, it's bunched up.
Yeah, it's kind of bunched up. I would like to maybe like if you had it like splayed off to the side a little bit, could be kind of neat as well.
Yeah, so kind of for me, like the point of laying down photos is to play with things like wigs and fabric. So Sarah, you prefaced that with like, this is so nitpicky, but like, you know, the hair, actually, that's like the absolute first thing I went to was you got to play with that hair. You got to lay it out. You got to fan it out. And I don't know, you know, what the fibers of the wig are. I know it's a long wig. Maybe it was tangled. Maybe it didn't look so good being fanned out. You know, there's a lot of things like that to consider. But the intention when you're doing a lay down on the floor, because I said so shot, showcase the way the wig and the fabric lays. And another thing is I love the white-haired subject. I love how her chin is positioned. Because you're shooting from back and up, you want her to also kind of be tilting her chin up towards that hand that she's holding. She's kind of got her chin, you know, down a little bit. You really want to make sure maybe she's like angling it up a little bit, maybe like tell her, you know, like sniff their hand a little bit, like kind of just nuzzle up into their hand a little bit. I think that would have like created this like
sniff the hand, yes.
Yes, sniff the hand, you know, like, and just kind of like angle their chin up a little bit so that you kind of have this like yin yang effect going on where they're almost mirroring each other. Achieve that, you just want to tilt her chin up a little bit more. Also, shots are hard, trust me, I do enough of them to know. But I would want to pull back a little bit or show a little bit more of the white-haired subject's torso. Like, it feels a little off balance.
Yeah, Oki Cosplay in chat said the same thing, that she'd like to see the cropping kind of be the same on both of them.
And trust me, I totally know. I've taken enough to like know how this shit works.
That's so hard to do too, because like you have to.
So hard.
God,
but
yikes!
That is what I would choose. Like I kind of snap like crazy and kind of like move the camera up a little, like in increments if I'm like having trouble with the angle that I'm shooting and I can't really see in full like how they're being showcased, and so I just kind of take like 10 like moving the camera a little bit. So I would have chosen the one that has more of a balance. Also feels a little crooked, but only because I'm looking at the lines.
Yeah, that was something I was gonna bring up about. Is I think if you Photoshop out those lines, which should be pretty easy and quick to do, I don't think I have that problem with this shot.
Agreed.
I think only because there's lines I have that problem. So I think it'd be
because we have a reference point, so it's kind of like no.
Yeah, you have a grid that they've been placed upon. So and now the grid's turned, but like I think they're fine in the shot. It's just like just quickly Photoshop that grid. I think it would work really well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I had something else I was gonna say, but shit, if I remember. Yeah, no, it's another example of like a very like solid laying down shot, but like also displays the difficulties of laying down shots. Man, and also I think the biggest thing that you can do to help yourself with laying down shots is making sure that you have a camera that has a tilting screen. I don't know about you guys, but I do not have a tilting screen on my camera, so like half the time I'm shooting laying down shots, they're like I'm just like setting up the cosplayers and then like praying to God that I get it right as I like hold it over their head and like I'm just like
and hope you also don't fall on top of their fucking face.
Oh yeah, have you ever had a fear that you were just gonna drop the camera right on top of them?
That would literally kill them. Yes.
I think Bloom said that, and I was like,
oh yeah, no, that's a
like
thing.
The real one fear, no fear, one fear.
One fear.
Yes. No, that's a big mood.
Always wear that strap, you guys. Just just in fucking case.
Yep. No, totally.
Oh yeah. I'm like dissociating right now, like thinking about all the times I like stood over someone, like, oh my god, I could have killed them.
And how awkward it probably looks from the outside, like someone passes by and they're like, "What the hell are they doing?" And because like half the time you're like doing the splits over the person, like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's some good photos of me doing that.
It's hilarious. It's weird as hell.
Oh my god.
Okay. You guys got any final thoughts on this one before we move on to the next shot?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm good. It's getting me pumped to do all my lay down on the floor shots at Katsucon though.
Oh yeah.
Okay, let's go to the next one, and this next one is from Fluffy Fox Photography. Hopefully, she's not fallen asleep from being sick and is still in chat. So hopefully you're still with us, Fluffy Fox. And Riley, you are leading us off on this one.
I love this. Let's see. I don't get to see like a lot of fun window reflection like photos a lot. This feels very thoughtful and contemplative. I feel like the toning for the pose, and I find that to be a really cohesive visual altogether. The only thing that like, I mean, I'll probably discover more things as we talk or I talk, but the only thing that's really jumping out to me is that eyeball that's just like, you've got this cool like haziness and then like this eyeball that just looks like the burn tool just like happened a lot.
Yeah,
and
I absolutely agree.
I don't know what it looked like before, but I think that this would have just totally worked without, you know, bringing that out or maybe bringing it out that much. But otherwise, I love the dreaminess of this and the thoughtful. I like the body language. I don't know. I love when like everything just feels cohesive in an image and you've got the toning, the pose, the expression. You've got this empty diner in the background. That also works. It might not have worked as well if I could see like someone else there in the background. I like it a lot. I just don't like that eyeball.
Yeah.
I don't like that eyeball.
The eyeball's a bit too sharp.
Yeah.
No, it is. It's just like I think the biggest thing is like if you the hair and the darkness on the hair and the darkness on the eye should the shadows of both should be pretty much the same, and they're very different. So yeah, I would just tone that down. I think, you know, a little bit of dodging and burning is fine, but I think this is a case of where I'd tone that down a little bit. I really love the fact that this glass is producing such a lovely reflection, and it's just got this clean and smooth gradient that's causing this beautiful highlight, and it's just like the window's just nice and clean. Like
Yeah,
it just,
I know
like
that's what I really admire about that.
Yeah, to me, like, I feel like half the time you try to do this, you go on the other side and you'd be like, oh, this window's gross and dirty, and I don't have Windex with me right now to fix this.
Yeah, I can't get over how clean this is. I don't understand.
Yeah, I that's why I'm like, wow, you don't see that often because there's also always obstructions being reflected in the window, like a mailbox or cars or like people walking on the street. Like it looks like there's just like side of you. I'm curious to know like where, like what they're looking at, kind of when they're looking out the window. But yeah.
Oki Cosby brought up something that I actually thought about when I first saw this photo, but I had forgotten about this, is the steam coming out of the coffee mug. When you see it,
we did say that last time that it was weird that there was no steam, but now it's weird because it looks like the cups are empty, so now there's smoke coming out of it, but there's like
it just doesn't look quite right. I feel like something about it is just off. I think maybe like the color is also a little bit off. Like it's too, like with everything being so like having this bluish tone, this like steam coming off of the coffee mug feels like it's very gray and just doesn't feel quite right. There's something about it that is not right. Screen share there. Yeah, it's funny. She says smoking coffee is only there because of Sorairo-Days. Look what you've done, Sarah. You've caused all of this.
I was like, if you're gonna add those effects, they need to make sense, like realistic. Like you wouldn't just have steam coming out of a cup if there's nothing in it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. Oki Cosby says, I thought the steam was a loose thread at first.
Yeah, it kind of does.
I thought it was too at first.
Yeah. I think like maybe if you, instead of trying to do specific wisps of like kind of steam, if you just like if you took that, like duplicated it a couple times and then just like gauge and blurred it at like 20 pixels, I think that could work.
Now, someone else said that the ceramic, they're like, I don't like that. It looks a little too proppy. Like it just looks too much. And I mean, I wouldn't have noticed that unless you said it, but maybe you could play with that a little bit more. But I mean, that's just me like pulling, like really trying.
I don't know if that bothers me with how clean that window is. And then you look and the cups are super clean. I'm just like, everything about this image looks clean to me. So
I also like, for some reason I get like, I mean, it's just not this, but to me it feels like they're in a restaurant or something. And in that case, you would have these like very like generic looking.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
Ceramics, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't particularly bother me.
But overall, I do like this image, and I envy the way you got this like contemplative window picture, like #goals.
Yep.
I want to try that now.
You're gonna get there. Bring some Windex.
Yeah,
right.
You're just like you're like at a Starbucks and you're cleaning their windows and like everyone's looking at you like, what the hell is she doing?
I'm doing it for cosplay. Stop looking at me.
It's for the cosplay.
Ew.
Okay. You guys got any other thoughts on this one? I think Fluffy Fox, I think this is one of the coolest shots I've seen of yours. Like, huge props.
Agreed. It's beautiful.
Dig the hell out of this one. Color toning is awesome. That haze is that window haze is awesome. Okay. You guys ready to move on to the next one?
Yeah.
Bro, skip. We're gonna skip the next photo.
Oh, this one's from Masan Hickory.
Y'all are so mean.
Did you see how he entered the chat? Gross.
Yeah, he was like, "Howdy, y'all," or "Knee howdy, y'all."
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that like put him into like roast mode right off the bat. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna grab that Flickr link for all of you guys in chat real quick here, and then I'll jump into this. God, trying to do too much stuff at once. Okay.
This is all of Neil's favorite shit in one.
Yeah, Cars and Fate. Like this is
Cars and Fate and Blur and like Dusty.
Yeah, and some overlays. And ass? Is ass one of his favorite things? I don't know. I don't know Neil that well, I guess.
I don't know you very well, Neil, but is ass one of your favorite things? Because this was a photo of all of it.
We love Nero in this house. God damn.
No, this is the probably the most Neil photo I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So if you know Neil, you will understand that. But if you don't know Neil, which is fine, I suppose.
This is Neil in a photo.
Yeah, if you wanted to know what Neil's about, this photo. I'm disappointed that you didn't take this opportunity to change the license plate to like something like Fate
or some
shit. Some like stupid thing.
Well, time to rip Neil a new one because we can.
Yeah. So overall, I this is kind of an interesting shot because I think like this shot viewed in thumbnail form, I don't like. But when I have this shot like open a lot larger on the screen, I think it works much, much better. There's just something about all of the things that are going on in this shot that just don't feel like they work at a small scale. I think it's just kind of because there's like, I actually don't know why it just doesn't work at a small scale, but that was my first thought when I saw it, and clicking on the thumbnail, I was just like, not a big fan. But now that I'm seeing it a lot bigger, I like it a lot more. I'm a fan of the 16:9 crop and the kind of the composition, how it's balanced, like the car and the flag kind of balance each other out. I would maybe like to see the flag have been a little bit lower to kind of even balance that composition a little more. The background is maybe, I would say, the weakest part of this shot. Partially because the trees on the one side, how they curve up but not on the other, feels like a little bit off. I would like to have seen this shot maybe turn just a little bit so you get that one consistent like strip of background like bushes and stuff instead of having the
but
one.
Andrew, he's Mason Hikari photo. He can just composite a new background.
Yeah. So honestly, I thought about like you could just have cloned section to like recreate that bit and have it be even, but then at the same time I was like, I don't want to do that.
He could probably do it in like 30 seconds with his eyes closed. This is like not a challenge for Neil. Do it, you lazy bum.
I really like the sun coming through the flag. I think that's kind of a really neat detail. Yeah, how it's beautiful. Shining through there. I think the one area I'd really like to see this photo taken further in is the color toning. I think the reds and greens could work well together, but just kind of as they are with kind of, I'm trying to think, like this like orangey-ish reds, but these kind of the duller greens isn't quite doing it for me. I'd like to see kind of maybe a bit more greeny greens with the greeny greens and reddy reds. Yeah, I'd like those. Nailed it. But then you'd kind of have that complementing colors that I think would work a little bit better.
I have some like posing things and
I mean, yeah, you go into that.
To come up.
Yes.
So I know that for some reason, I mean, maybe this is just race flags, but all the ones that the Fate cosplayers have, they're very short, like the poles that they hold on to. I think it's kind of weird that it's like coming out of her hip. I don't really know how I feel about that. Also because the way that it's like angled, it almost looks like it should be continuing like in front of her, if that makes any sense, but it doesn't. I I don't know. It's like creating like this weird illusion in my head.
I would agree with you. It's like it's almost like this. It weirdly just pops out of her hip. Like I expect it to be a long pull, but then it's just like out of my hip.
Also, her left arm. I wish it was kind of like brought out a little bit more, so there was more of a shape like that triangle. You know what I mean? Like when your elbows out and then you have like that.
Yes.
Back.
Negative
yeah,
space.
Negative space. Yeah. I wish that was a little more pronounced. Right now it's just like it's very straight, and also her hand is like I don't mind in those poses hand missing, but I think because here like the plane is just so like.
I think if it was on her hip, it would probably work even better
nice.
though. Yeah.
And another thing is, I think someone actually brought it up in chat thing. I don't know where it was, but someone said that they wish that she was kind of to the left. No, I mean the right a little bit more. And I agree because I do think it's kind of odd that she's like literally like I think right where the car ends. So it's kind of like you have like this like car entity, and then you have like this like the model entity of the photo. If that makes any like
yeah.
For,
I don't know.
For me, it would either be from the car or have her in between both wheels, because right now I'm not sure what you're trying to showcase here. There's some ass and there's some car and there's some dreamy light. I'm gonna preface this with I do like your work. I don't like this image. I don't know what it's trying to tell. I do like her pose. I think the pose is sexy.
Pose is great.
Love the looking over the shoulder. Love the booty. Love the movement of the flag. I'm just not sure what you're trying to evoke, except like there's a lot of male gaze happening, and I'm a little kind of bored overall with whatever this narrative is, if there is one. I also think that like I have seen your composites. They're really cool. I would have loved to see maybe like something urban.
I think just like it's if you're gonna do like the whole like sexy girl with car bullshit, like you need to take it there. Like she's literally not interacting with the car at all. Like it's like you have the car, like I said earlier, you have the car and you have the cosplayer, and like
so
that's it. They're not doing
I'm actually going to disagree with you guys there, because one of the things that I hate about quote unquote sexy car girl photos is when the girl feels like the accessory to the car. Right now,
agreed. I don't think it should be that.
Yeah, right now she is the subject of the photo, and the car is an accessory in the photo, and that's part of what I appreciate about this photo, because like man, so many. I think car photos feel like they screw, like it just becomes like this sexy piece that we can add to the car that doesn't really matter. But here, that I don't get that vibe. Well,
my problem is like if you took just the cosplayer, it'd be a great photo. If you had just the car, it'd be a good car photo. But right now, it's kind of like they're not the model and the car aren't working together. I'm not saying that the model needs to interact with the car. It's just right now it's kind of like it's there.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Because I agree. I couldn't quite like explicitly explain like what it was about this that was off. But yeah, that could work. Is maybe like I don't know.
Like
you can't touch the car though. Apparently, right? You're not allowed to touch the car.
Well, probably not. I don't think it's not his car.
Yeah, it's not his.
But like, you know, Mallow said, I don't think he was trying to make a deep concept, but I'm like, even if something's not a deep concept and it's supposed to be just for the sake of playing something, like, it still needs to have some kind of like intention behind why those things are together. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't need to have this like deep narrative about
I don't know. I feel like it makes sense to me.
Cars.
I think the thing that doesn't make sense to me the most in this photo is those fucking shorts, but that's just me.
We love Nero's design in this house. Just
no,
I do want to reiterate. I do love her pose and her expression.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, no, she's working it. She's doing like she nailed that.
Anyway.
Whatever,
Neil. Sucks.
Other thought, the overlay in this shot, I don't know how I feel about it. I don't dislike it. But I also like, I feel like it helps that corner. I feel like I don't like it that much, but I feel like the image would probably not look as good with it without it there. My biggest thing is I feel like maybe I would like to see it maybe with that overlay in the top left corner, because the top left corner is what I feel like I'm like fighting the most with this image. I just dislike how dark it is in that top left corner versus like everywhere else in this image. Like, it just is this dark spot compositionally and kind of takes my eyes away from the where the subjects are. And maybe that overlay in the top left corner would help balance that out if you don't want to just composite in a new background, you know? Okay, you guys got any final thoughts on this one after we've finished roasting Mason
Hickory.
Oh my gosh, you guys are mean.
We're mean because we love. We actually don't.
We're giving Neil a hard time because we know he can handle it.
He can take it.
He's not a little bitch.
I mean...
No, I'm kidding. We love you, Neil. I'm sorry.
Don't hate us, Neil. I'm sorry.
See you soon.
Okay, with that, I think that we are going to take a short break. That said, when we Jesus Christ, come on, guys, get with it. When we come back, we will be doing our Q&A. So think of some questions for us to ask when we're back, because it's really awkward when we come back and there's no questions. You guys killed it last time.
Yeah, you guys didn't kill it last time.
Yeah, you guys killed it. We had a lot of awesome questions. So think about those. We'll be back in 5 minutes. See you soon. We're back. Sarah is subtly munching. It's time for Q&A, you guys. So that means we're going to look to chat for some questions, and we will be answering them. They can be cosplay related, con related, in general, like pretty much anything you want to ask us, as long as it's appropriate. So yeah. You guys, worse than 2 Mr. X's? No, that's terrible. I saw that speed run where glitch, which is kind of amazing but also horrifying.
For what game?
For Resident Evil 2.
Oh.
There's a glitch where it spawned 2 Mr. X's, which is the most like frightening thing in the world.
I would rather die.
Who's your favorite Kingdom Hearts character? Mallow asks. In all caps.
Xehanort.
Get out of here.
First of all, spoiler for you, chat. Just want to preface. My favorite is Axel. I love Axel.
I love
I love Terra.
He can push me with his arms.
I can't pick.
Roxas!
Fuck you guys. My favorite's Goofy.
I love Goofy.
I love Goofy too.
Okay, so
Goofy,
no, it's been annoying me so much when they're like, I've been seeing the Instagram meme of, or the Instagram story meme of like favorite Kingdom Hearts characters with everyone circling them, and there's no freaking Disney characters, and I'm like, this is bullshit. This is what I'm here for. Mike Wazowski.
Oh my god.
Anyway, Goofy.
Someone asked, what's the worst critique you ever received in high school or college? Is this about like our work?
Or I mean, I think that very much applies to, did you have art classes in high school or college? And yes, and my worst one was in a 3D studio art class. I am not good at 3D art at all, and holy shit, did I get one of my pieces just torn to shreds.
Oh no.
It builds character.
Yeah, it was like one of those things that I like conceptually put a lot of thought into it. Maybe the execution wasn't great, but it was just like, I still put like a shit ton of time into it, and I'm just like, Yep, guys. Thanks for all those points. Yeah, that was a terrible one.
I have one that didn't happen to me, but I witnessed it. There was this really harsh drawing professor freshman year who, like, you only signed up for him if you were ready to get torn a new one. Like, he was just like awful, but he produced the best art students because he just was good. So the final project they had to do at the end of the year was like the giant self-portrait. It had to be, I think it had to be 3 feet tall at least. And this one girl put hers up, and because I was waiting for class to start, so I kind of was just like creeping. And he basically was like, "This self-portrait is so awful, so poorly done that he took it off the wall and ripped it."
Holy shit.
And he was like, "You need to redo this for like your final grade, and if you don't, fail this class."
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Damn.
It was terrifying. So if you people think we're harsh, that's nothing. I've seen some scary shit in college, and that was one of them. I've never seen that in my life. And he threw it in the trash at the end. That was
my god. Mm-hmm. Damn. That's so rough. Mm. I would cry.
Same.
I was fortunate / unfortunate enough to not really go to art school. I studied marketing and I minored in photography just to have a minor, and it was like darkroom stuff, and it was really lenient and it was kind of bullshit. And so nice. I always wanted to go to art school because I felt like I could have learned so much, and but in that light I never endured like a critique.
That's probably for the best.
But so unfortunately I don't really have anything to add to this. But I wish that I had been.
Well, for someone who hasn't been critiqued as much as Andrew and I, you certainly know how to deliver critique in a very meaningful way.
Oh, thank you. Well, let's see. Does anyone else? Hey, Kate.
Anyone else got any other questions for us? We need those questions. Otherwise, we're gonna just like sit here for the rest of this Q&A time, staring at the screen awkwardly, and just be like,
"You can ask us anything."
Sarah, you gonna share those Cheez-Its with me? Come on, I gotta.
Yo, I found these extra toasty Cheez-Its at Target.
Mallow asks, "Do you actually poop on the poop break?" No. Can't poop that fast.
Mostly just gotta pee really bad.
Yeah, definitely go to the bathroom. It's just not.
Did we miss a question?
Oh
man. Oh, Nikes. Yeah, re-ask your question. Wait, hold on.
How does your makeup stay so well in cosplay when you photograph other cosplays? Oh, this is for Sarah.
Yeah, because my makeup does not stay on.
Yeah, same. No,
my makeup falls straight off.
I put my camera away, and I like bring my camera away from my face, and my foundation is just like all over my screen, and I'm like, great.
I use the Urban Decay all-nighter setting spray. I don't know. Also when I do cosplay, because also I'm like wearing like really big falsies, so I really can't even put like the viewfinder up my eyeball without it being like weird. I do a lot of live view shooting.
Yes.
I don't know, yo. I just like fucking YOLO it. Mal brought up the eyeliner, so I use like literally the world's best eyeliner. The NYX Epic Ink Liner. That shit does not smudge, doesn't budge.
Taking notes over here.
Yeah, $9. Fuck Stila. Fuck Kat Von D. Get NYX.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Fluffy Fox asks, "How long do you try a pose or a setup before giving up on it and moving on if it's not working?" I added the not working part because I kind of feel like that was what I was getting at.
Very quickly.
If I can't get it in like 3 photos.
Yeah.
In general, one thing I like to do is I generally don't like to let the cosplayer know that the photos aren't working out. Like, even if I'm like not happy with it, I'll take a couple and I'll look and I'm like, yeah, it's looking great. Yeah, okay, let's move on to the next shot, and like just quickly can it if it's not working, but never say like, ooh boy, that's not working, because I feel like that's just feels a little bit like the
You don't want
cosplayers
to
like,
discourage them.
yeah, they're like, was it me? Was it, or is this cosplay or photographer not very good? Just don't put that kind of questioning in their mind.
I'm pretty honest with people, and I usually make a joke out of it. I'm definitely like, it's not you, it's me, because like usually I'm improvising with like, how about this? And I move your hand here, and I move your face here, and like arch your back, and then I'm like, you know what? I told you to do all those things, and those things aren't working, so it's not you, it's me. And so I just try to really be super candid with my subject and be like, you know, I'm improvising too. And I can, at this point, after 9 years of shooting cosplay, kind of quickly recognize when something's just not going to work in the time frame we're given.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is unless you have a very, very specific vision you're trying to capture, like if something's not working fairly quickly, move on. Because oftentimes, if you don't, you'll end up with some pretty mediocre photos. And that'll be all you have. Procrastinating David asks,
this is a good question.
Do you ever have photography block? I'll read the entire question. I mean, when you don't find in the mood to take any photos, or your creativity is on the floor level, assuming that you don't do photography as your daily basis job, what do you do to get interested again?
Wow.
Well,
I feel like... Go ahead,
Sarah. No, you can go.
Oh, okay. I'm working on fixing that. Other than cosplay, which is something I've become so comfortable and almost impulsive or instinctual, like working with a cosplayer, it just feels like so natural now. I haven't worked on anything that's felt personal or out of my comfort zone in a long time. And I feel like that would be really good for me. And I think from what I've heard of other people, when that happens to you, you gotta take it on head on, because I don't think that that's a feeling that will just go away by leaving it alone. And by tackling whatever you're afraid of, and either learning like, so bad, I can do this, or learning, okay, like this is why this scares me. This is what I can do in the future to like make it less scary. Like that's how.
I think one of the cool things about cosplay photography is that it's very heavily based in like this nerd culture interest stuff that we're already very passionate about. So to me, it's just like, well, I don't know if I've ever really had much of photography block, but like I feel like if that's the case, it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go and find that cosplayer that's doing the thing that I love. And like it's pretty hard not to like, oh, this person's cosplaying one of my favorite characters. It's hard not to be invested in that and just like just there's a natural passion because we're all fucking nerdy people here to just be like, oh my god, you're cosplaying this character, hell yes. And then you kind of like get invested so much, and you know sometimes that is harder to find, but I think that's probably the best way to break through that kind of a brain block.
What about you, Sarah?
I disagree, actually. Not necessarily I disagree, but I think how you choose to recover is really dependent on what your situation is. Like I'm actually, I was in a huge block a year ago, and then I've recently been in one, and I'm still trying to like get out of it. But a lot of mine comes more from like, it's not that I'm not happy with my work. Like I'm not trying to seek new challenges per se. For me, it's kind of like social media burnout, kind of feeling,
that's real,
and trying to feel the need that I need to meet everyone's expectations, trying to cater to what the masses want versus I want as an artist. Because I think something that is forgotten is that like photographers are artists too, and we need to be happy with our work and our quality that we're putting out, not just like, oh, I gotta put out a freaking like lewd shoot because everyone else is doing it. But like if that's just not you, it's hard to not feel like you need to feel obligated to do something like that because everyone else is doing it. So the thing that I'm trying to focus on is like, I need to focus on content that makes me happy and what makes my clients happy, because like I need to be happy with it too, not just what everyone else like wants or is what is expected of a cosplay photographer. Because for a while I was really caught up on trying to be like, okay, I gotta like, provide like 6 to 8 photos per shoot, and like it needs to have like strong narrative and like blah 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 blah. But like the more I did that, I realized I was trying to do something that I'm just not good at. Like I was trying to force something that I just not into. Mm-hmm. So now I'm trying to focus more on like the quality over quantity. And just creating like really good images that my clients are happy with and that I'm happy with too. And for me, like I have to stop doing. So like when I get burnout, I gotta stop. I can't keep.
Got a couple more questions that we'll answer yet, but if your question is not in yet, don't worry about it. We'll save that question for next time. The next few will be ones that I've already answered since the kind of time's up, but there's some that I still want to get to. I won't do them in the order that they were posted because I feel like this one's a really good one to follow up with. Is from Fiora, is do you ever do a paid shoot where afterwards you aren't really satisfied with any of the photos? If so, what do you do about it?
Oh yeah.
Right off the bat, if someone's paying me for a shoot, what matters is that they're happy. I've done plenty of paid shoots where I'm not happy. But they are. Or I did my most high, I mean, not cosplay related, but I just did like my highest paying paid wedding of last year, and I didn't like it at all. I hated it, and my client loved it so much they wanted to publish it on a bunch of blogs. They wrote me a stellar review, and like for me, it kind of it matters for me, like less about how I feel. If the person paying me is happy, that's what they're paying me for.
And as long as I feel like as long as you're still giving the effort to them, if you're still like, if you're half-assing it and then you're not happy, then yeah. But if you're like you put the effort in both up front during the shoot and editing, and you're not satisfied, but there's chances are they'll probably still feel pretty satisfied.
You're your own worst critic, is what I said.
Yes. I probably dislike about half the photos that I put up.
Also, to be fair, we're staring at them for hours.
And also
you can tell me not to. It's not going to change how I feel, though.
We've been shooting for so long that like not everything is going to be something that we love. Yeah, like as the artist, it's just not possible. I mean, we're artists. In fact, it's like our job to kind of hate what we make because artists pay.
Fiora adds this little wrinkle into it. Is what happens if what if neither of you are happy with the photos? What do you do? Ooh, that's a hard area to be. I guess you kind of you got to shrug and move on, because the fact of the matter is that unless you are like scamming them in some way, like it's clearly that you were half-assing it, like you did not put in the effort that you were showing, like when you were advertising for shoots. If you were advertising with a certain quality level, and like it is so explicitly clear that you did not put the same effort in, then you should figure out some sort of recourse, because like you screwed up. Like if you genuinely screwed up, you should figure out some way to make it up to the cosplayer. However, if you're just like, I put in my all and they're just okay photos and they're not super happy with it, like it's a bit of a bummer. But I think you just both need to move on, and maybe you don't shoot with that person again, and that's a bummer, but hey, that's life.
I think that's why I make a lot of effort throughout the shoot, even if we just have 20 minutes, 30 minutes together, to constantly be showing my client what their back of camera previews look like, because I want to make sure that during the shoot they're happy, so that they are excited about what they're going to receive instead of feeling anxious the entire time. I really hate leaving my clients in the dark. So I will know during the shoot if they're happy with what we're capturing.
Communication is so important.
Communication.
That's what I'm saying. And I don't get, I mean, I don't know. I think cosplayers are just so fun to photograph, because a lot of them are just so stoked to be seeing their vision come to life that they are pretty happy with, as long as they look good. Like they can be pretty happy people. But I've shot a lot of cosplayers, so I'm just gonna say that I can count on 2 to 3 fingers how many times I've maybe struggled in a shoot with someone else who just maybe wasn't getting what they wanted. And I just kept working with them. At Otakon, I had a girl who wasn't happy with how she was looking. She had, you know, some self-conscious issues, totally fine. I kept showing her like these poses and she was just like, no, I'm sorry. I just don't like these. I just don't like these. And she was giving me just like really vague feedback. And I'm like, okay, like let's keep working. So I just kept doing different poses, like one after the other. And I'm like, do you like maybe this? Just trying to figure out, because she didn't know what she liked. So we had to figure that out. So I just think that constant communication is key, and I'm talking too much. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's fine. I think that's wonderful. In terms of like a response to this. This actually was Mallow's question, and I feel like you had a beautiful answer for it, even though you weren't explicitly answering hers, which is, have you ever had a rude, or if not rude, frustrating client for a shoot, and what did you do to get through it?
Yeah.
And I feel like that was
keep snapping,
exactly
keep showing them like, is this what you like? Because you don't know and I don't know, and let's like figure it out together.
I think the hardest part is when you have a client who is like totally not responding to you, like giving you any sort of feedback. Like you don't know whether you're doing really good or really bad. I've had a couple like that. One that I remember specifically where I was just like, she felt like she was so uncomfortable, and I'm like, hey, like if anything here is you're uncomfortable with, let me know. We'll work around it. Like, but I need you to communicate with me so like I know how we can make this better. And she was like, she would say okay, and then not talk again at all. And I'm just like, it was crazy to me because like messaging her, she would like via messages before the shoot, she was totally different. So I was just like, I don't know what to do with this. And yeah, you just have to, I feel like, just up your effort level even more.
I have a different perspective.
Go ahead.
I've had this one client that they totally just did not respect my time as a photographer. So one instance that I really recall is, and this is like when I was first starting in photography, so I just like wasn't as assertive as I am now, but looking back on it, I should have been more assertive. But basically, like, the shoot was an hour long, and they spent more time like talking to each other instead of trying to get serious for photos. So they were wasting a lot of their time that they had booked me for, and also trying to like talk to people around the area that weren't part of the shoot. So again, getting distracted and whatever. And you know, if a cosplayer is doing that, like, don't be afraid to like be authoritative, kind of be like, hey, you booked this time with me, you need to like be a little bit serious, and like we got to get to work.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, making it clear to them like, hey, you're wasting my time, but you're also wasting your time. Like,
right,
you're paying for this time.
Yeah, and I was really, again, because I was so at it, I was afraid I was going to get like what I wanted and be able to deliver them like what they paid for. And like luckily I did, and they were happy at the end. But like that was a very big learning experience for me, because it put me in an awkward situation, because I just wasn't sure like what the photographer cosplayer relationship is supposed to be. And like, but don't let a cosplayer like walk over you. Like, this is like, as we've already said like a million times, is like, this is a collaborative effort, and you guys are working together. And if someone is not respecting you for your time, whether it's like they're goofing off or they're late and they're not being like communicative,
yep, time is money, baby.
I've had people like not even like show up, like they're like 20 minutes late and they're not even messaging me about it.
That's where you have it in your policy. Hey, you were late, you're boning yourself.
Goodbye.
There's a reason why, you know, it's smart to have your policies page long and just cover all of your bases.
Yep.
And then make a rule against that happening.
Yeah.
Yep. Because then they can't go back on you. Be like, well, whatever. I'm like, no, my thing says 20 minutes late or whatever. You can't do it. So anyway.
Which reminds me, I need to put a weather clause in mine. I have it for everything except cosplay photo shoots. I just have not
what is your weather clause for non-cosplay photo shoots? Like what do you
pretty much like I am not responsible for like a failed shoot idea if via acts of God is what the usual clause is put in there.
That's
so
shoot. I should put that in my.
Yeah.
Ooh, I should put
so
that in my
so
contract. I have
if we're planning on shooting
out
out in nature, like, and it's pouring that day, and like it's a con, we still have a shoot planned, like we're gonna go through it. You're probably gonna get not as good photo. You can cancel, but you're still gonna lose the deposit. But like, I can't be responsible for nature saying, fuck you, and I'm not gonna, like, we still booked something, so like, I'm sorry, but it's a bummer, but yeah. It's yet to have been a problem though, thankfully. Riley response.
What do you do when there is no God?
The act of Thor.
Okay, we spent a lot of time in Q&A. Let's jump back into some critique here.
We love QA.
Thanks, guys.
This is such a fun section. Thank you guys for those awesome questions.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, this next photo is from Alexandria Lee Studios, and Sarah, you're leading us off on this one.
Kingdom Hearts and its best girl, Aqua.
My wife.
Oops, wrong button.
Your wife, me too.
Oh my God, same wife.
My wife.
She's great. Anyway. So I really like the mood of this photo. I think it's interesting to see Aqua because she's usually so like cheerful and stuff, but I'm just gonna like not say any spoilers anyway. But it's interesting to see her like juxtaposed in this like in like the realm of darkness. I think that's what you're trying to do here. I'm not entirely sure. I think just like conceptually, I think it was an interesting way to approach like how you edit an Aqua cosplayer. I'm gonna be a little harsh only because Alexandra is like very talented and I've seen stronger work from them. But overall, this photo does falls a little short for me. Okay, she said do it, it's fine. Okay, well, are you sure? Okay. So the first thing that I thought wasn't really quite working for me is the Kingdom Hearts moon itself. I think, like, it's hard to tell because it's, like, a fucking video game for crying out loud. Like, it could be interpreted as a moon. It could be interpreted as kind of, like, this nebulous entity. Either way, I think just, like, also perspective-wise, now that I'm thinking about it, like, even if it was, like, the texture of the moon, the craters wouldn't be, like, that big. I think, like, realistically speaking, if the moon was heart-shaped, I just don't think it would look like that unless, like, yeah, heart cheese. Okay, it does look like cheese. Anyway,
I love that the two people from Wisconsin mentioned the heart cheese. Bless you, people. You're my people. Because I thought of cheese. No, it's just cheese. We just thought of cheese.
No, it does look like cheese.
Dude, that was the very first thing I thought of when I thought this photo, and I'm just like, maybe it's because maybe it's from Wisconsin, but like cheese though.
Yeah. Yeah, the moon just like isn't just it's not doing it for me. And also, like, I don't know. It's hard because it's Kingdom Hearts, and, like, that is such a very, like, symbolic thing in the game. So it's like, if you're going to do it, you gotta, like, it's gotta make sense. The other thing is, I can't quite put my finger on it, but the rocks feel so bizarre to me. Like, they almost, like, maybe they're not, like, as, like, I can't think of a word because I don't do photo manipulations, but, like, they're not as like blended in or something. Like they feel very kind of like they were copy and pasted. And again, you guys, I'm being this harsh because Alexandra Lee does a lot of this, and I've seen way stronger work. So it's just I just want to keep prefacing that so y'all don't think I'm being a bitch. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. The rocks feel odd. I think it's maybe the color doesn't really match. Like they feel kind of warm, but everything is like really cool toned. I don't know. Again, I'm not really wording this very well. I also think the blur on the foreground rocks is not the right type of blur. I don't know. Again,
it looks like a Gaussian blur and not like a camera
Gaussian blur. And not like a camera blur. Yeah. So I think that's a little
Bobo brought up a good thing is that the moon is reflected, but like the rocks really aren't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. The other thing is like, I'd be interested to see like what the before photo was, like just to see how this was lit.
I think it pretty much wasn't. I can pull it up. God damn it! Why did you do this to me?
It's interesting to point out, Sarah, the shadows. Very warm. I mean, yeah, on the rocks, like compared to her, that feels very cool. I definitely I catch that because there's always a lot to like take in with a photo manipulation. So I enjoy hearing your feedback.
The comment says,
I think the light also doesn't make a lot of sense to me because like she's backlit, but
yes,
it's
that was my problem.
It's very clearly coming from the top right, but then also the rocks are being lit differently. So I think that's what's kind of throwing me
the
off.
rocks are being not uniformly lit. Like the rocks on the right side of the photo are lit from the top left, and the one that she's standing on is like kind of like direct left, but the one on the very edge of the photo is being lit from the right. And then
there's a lot.
And then the moon's dictating to me that it should be backlit. Because that's where the light from the photo is. Like if it's dark,
really
it'd be
tell
moonlight.
What goes on in the realm of dark.
It's
weird
stuff.
Knows?
But her comment when she submitted this was, it was dark with no strobes and only window light and convention lighting.
Okay, positives. I mean, negatives aside, I think the pose of the cosplayer is really beautiful. Like I think it captures Aqua's whole persona beautifully. She's very graceful, very powerful.
I love the pendant or whatever going off of her wrist. That's, I think, like just the way it has that like subtle glow on it. I really, really dig that.
Oh, I actually I don't like it.
So, I thought you were talking about the keyblade trailing. I don't.
No.
I do catch that there's too much dodging on the wayfinder. It feels like, but otherwise, like the good things I like about this is that there's every facet of the costume is in motion, but it doesn't feel like you are making everything stick out. Like what I'm saying is like her little capelet or her like butt cape, that's like flowing both ways. We've got the keyblade out, we've got the wayfinder trailing, and we've got the keyblade keychain also moving, and it doesn't feel like too much and too obvious. Like I like that you incorporated every part of who she is as a character in her pose and in this motion.
It's funny because I actually don't like the wayfinder in the photo.
I don't like the way it's dodged.
Yeah.
Well, I think contextually it doesn't make a lot of sense.
So
like it's not like she battles with it. It's kind of like their keepsake thing.
Maybe like holding it differently then, like her holding it in her hand, like looking up while she's like leaning forward.
What do you guys think about this? I personally think it could probably improve the photo a fair amount. Is if just the moon were removed from this shot. I know it's an importance kind of like for setting that specific mood, but like I think it's probably to me is the most poorly executed part of it.
I wouldn't be mad if she took out the moon.
Yeah, I just think there's so much. It's a Gouda photo. I just think there's so much about the moon that is causing my problems with this shot.
Or like even if it was like smaller and not such a like trying to compete as the central focal point too.
I don't know. Even then, like I feel like there's way too much contrast on that moon. It is not bright enough to be a light source, which it theoretically would be. It's the blur is totally wrong. Like it's blurred like about as much as like the backmost rock in this image. Like the I think that's like the biggest thing to my mind outside of the lighting that's getting thrown off with the composite is that there's no consistency to the depth of field with this image. Because like the other rock that's getting water splashed onto it is pretty in focus. But then like the rock that's not that far off in the background is totally out of focus. But then, well, not totally, but it's out of focus. And then the background moon looks like it's maybe even more in focus than that rock. it just feels very off to me. Tool that I would very much recommend you playing around with in Photoshop is the filter blur gallery tilt shift. I know tilt shift effect usually is, you think like, oh, that's cheesy, but the tilt shift blur effect is so good at faking depth of field in images.
I'm notes right now.
It's great.
Yeah, so because like theoretically you could have like one like out of focus plane, and instead of treating it like a stupid like fake tilt shift effect, you can use that as the like it's actually the focus plane falling off into the distance. It works super well. I've used it in a lot of my photos, and I don't think no one's called me out on it. So
I've used it before too. You really can't tell.
Yeah, and then if you like for those foreground rocks, I would use the filter blur gallery field blur. Anovalis mentions another thing, which is the motion blur on the splashes. I would agree. Like some of them feel like they're going the wrong way. Another technique for this that is in the newer version of Photoshop is instead of using blur motion blur, which will just give you a uniform blur direction, is to go to blur gallery and then path blur. So you can set it so you have multiple different blurs going off in different directions. The other way, if you don't want to do that, you can also like take that splash and use motion blur and then distort that motion blurred splash, and that'll allow you to also add different directions into it without because that's my problem, is because like here, if I zoom in for screen share here to these splashes, you can see that there's like let me grab this. So like the splash here, it feels like it should be moving this direction, but it's moving like this direction. So with the path blur, you could set that path here, and then that splash like right here in this direction, and then this splash like going that direction, and you can set all the specific paths to go the directions that you need, so that it can really add that blur to make it feel more believable.
I'm sorry, Alex. I can't provide meaningful feedback because this is just so outside my realm of
I don't.
I just want to say I love you, and I can't. I just see you at Katsucon.
I know how to do composites. I just don't, because I do not want to invest the time into doing composites. Because dear Jiminy Crickets.
Jiminy Crickets.
Oh my
god. Oh my god.
The funny thing about Jiminy Cricket that I found out is it was actually a word that was invented like way back in the ye old times as a way. It's actually like mostly an anagram of Jesus Christ. But they didn't want to take the Lord's name in vain, so thus Jiminy Cricket. Sorry, little random tidbit of information.
Oh my god! I thought Neil was like, did somebody say Jiminy Cricket?
I know, not composites. Go away.
Jiminy Composites.
Gross.
Oh Lord. Yeah, sorry. I think we've gone pretty hard on this one. Any final thoughts on this before we move on to the next one? See a lucky envelope.
I'm just like, where?
Okay, let's move on to the next shot then. This one is from Kelvin Sai. I don't know if I saw Kelvin in chat yet tonight, but hopefully he is here. And Riley, you are starting off on this one.
Yay! This is I'm finally know something about I haven't played video games other than Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy, but I actually know this is Olivia from Fire Emblem, right? And this is her costume. I've also shot this. It's a beautiful design, and she is lovely.
Her new dancer outfit.
Yeah. I love the composition here. And what I would like to see a little bit more is to bring, what I would do at least, I mean, this is all subjective, is I would bring down the contrast, or I would bring down the shadows. What am I trying to say? I would darken the background.
Yes.
I would darken the background.
I'm like, I think you're saying the
curves,
thing that I agree with.
I would get the curves out, and I would play with that a little bit. I feel like there's a lot of fun stuff to play with back there to really bring your audience into this setting. Another thing I always try to look out for, and it's so hard, and I rarely always catch myself, but the tree coming out of the head is something my eye goes to always, and that's just me. Other people might not even notice it, but I would just make it sure that she is in between that straight line and the crooked line of the tree that she's against, and maybe that would make more interesting lines in general happening with the photo. And yeah, I love her expression. I do love the pose, but I would love to see the background brought down a little bit to play with that. It'll give you more fun with like playing with the color balance of like the shadows, midtones, and highlights. But mostly the tree coming out of the head is, I would just move a little bit. Yeah.
My problem with this shot my area where I think this photo could be improved, I don't actually think it's particularly a problem. I actually dig the photo as it is, but I think the color toning is the one area that I would really work on this photo. You've got kind of these oranges that I would like, they're kind of like these yellowy oranges. I would like to see them more golden. And then these greens in the background are like
greeny greens, the greeny greens.
They're yellowy greens to me. They're like they're these bright saturated yellowish greens, which is like my least favorite type of green. And that's usually like I feel like how greens like defaultly photograph a lot of the time is like that bright, fairly saturated yellowy color. Like take down the saturation, the brightness on those, and shift them a little bit cooler.
Yellow greens would look really nice in this.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that.
Another thing I like, because I agree with everything you guys said, the greens are way too yellowy, and I feel that I get that sometimes in my image, and I'm like, I don't like that. And I love the other lines coming out of the branches in the background, those 3 that are just kind of happening. And I feel like you can bring out more of those to just make it, rule of thirds, like more balanced. If you, again, just brought out curves, darkened the background, and then had like, just have some fun with it, experiment a little bit. Everyone edits on like a different software. I typically edit cosplay photos on Photoshop, so I like default to color balance and kind of making a layer of shadows, midtones, and highlights and playing with that. But I know some people play with Lightroom, so there's that too.
Yeah, actually, I'm like trying to play around with this photo a little bit because I'm super curious. Because I feel like this photo, just with like a little bit of color tweaking, I would absolutely love.
It's a beautiful shot.
Yeah, I love how hazy, misty the background is.
Yeah. That's why I'm almost afraid that if you actually brought out curves and brought it down, you might get rid of some of that mistiness, because I do see that, and that's really cool. It adds to the environment, and I wouldn't want it to kind of take it away. So
for me, it's really the greens that.
Honestly. Yeah, something that Fluffy Fox said that I did not actually pay much attention to is the only thing that I do not like about this photo is that she only has 1 foot.
Oh shit! You're right.
And I actually like her being on the single foot. I think it works well with her kind of character.
Yeah, dancer kind of thing.
Yeah. That said, I think if you had her turned a little bit so you could see like her foot coming through like past her her leg, I think that would work out fine.
I'm like looking. One thing I love about her costume is I love the flounciness of that, like of the sheer white fabric on her leg. Like I'm not a cosplayer. I'm not a sewist, so like I can't describe it. But I like the way
A
that like,
sewist. I love it.
that's how my other seamstress friends identify.
I've never heard that, but I love it.
I've heard that, but they're like not cosplayer sewists. They're like, you know, other types. But anyway, no, I like that a lot.
I don't really have anything new to contribute.
Yeah,
pretty much said everything.
Pretty much same. I'm like actively just playing around with the colors of this photo right now.
Stitchist.
Yeah, for me it's the green, because I also feel like her skin tone is kind of like a yellow-green cast.
Yeah.
I'm not really digging. But yeah. Other than that, beautiful shot. Lighting's beautiful.
Yeah. I love the expression. Very dreamy.
Very serene.
Like, yeah, and her costume is beautiful. It showcases the costume beautifully. Like, so that's a success in my book. Oh, you know what I would change? Wait, did we mention this already? I would totally clone out. It looks like a blade of grass in the foreground that's on her capelet.
Yeah, I would clone it out.
Yeah.
No, I don't like that. Yeah, let's get rid of that.
The other thing that I would do is like I would like Photoshop in if it's not there is just a catch light in her eye. It looks like the light direction believably could be creating a catch light, and I feel like her eyes just feel a little dark. Just add a catch light, or if there is a catch light, brighten it up a ton. I think that could pop.
Interesting. I've never thought of adding a catch light to an image. Or like to their eyes. I should message you about that and be like, "Hello, how to."
Honestly, with this one, because her eyes are so small, you could literally just make a selection that's like vaguely catch light shaped and then just fill it with white.
On it. Yeah, that's what I do.
And then just lower the opacity till it makes sense. Like, so here, I'll screen share. Whoops, wrong button. I keep on doing this. So like right now, I literally, all I did was make a selection that was like this, filled it with white and lowered the opacity. So if I turn off the catch light, like it's enough, it's super minor, but it's enough to just like pop her eye a little bit, which like, if you zoom out, it just adds it just adds like a little bit of pop to her eye. And like, it's so small that it's not like...
Damn, her brows are on fleek!
I know, right?
Damn! Olivia on fleek. But no, that's really cool. I will remember that for my own shit.
Yeah, those eyebrows are sharp. Damn.
And just to note, doing that technique of adding the catch light, it works best when like the image is like super small like this, because then you can just like super add an easy and lazy one like this. Otherwise, you actually like if you're a lot closer to their face, then you actually have to care about making it look real, and which is a lot more time consuming. Okay, any final thoughts on this one before we move on to the next shot? I will take that as a no. Okay.
Nope.
This next one is... Oh, I'm still screen sharing. This next one is from Scott Waldron. I know exactly where this was taken. Let me get everything set up. This is always like when it's my photo. I'm like, oh, shit, I have things to do. And also have to talk about the photo. Too many things. Oh, God. There we go.
Colors are so pretty.
I know. Oh my god, and those brown eyes, like
damn.
It's been fun to watch. Scott Waldron, who's a photographer, he's recently been going through a lot of older photos and like has decided that he wanted to like up his editing game a bit. So he's been going back through old photos and re-editing them. I think this one's from 2015, 2016, sometime around there. Crap, I accidentally X'd off the photo on my screen. Okay, we're back. I like the colors in this shot are really lovely. There's just like so many, but they just kind of give this cohesive naturey feel, like a vibrant nature feel that works well with Snow White.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing that I want on this photo is I want her eyes just to be a little bit brighter, like up the contrast in them, do a bit more like dodging and burning in them. The irony of the cosplayer's name being Bright Eyes Cosplay is not lost here. But yeah, that's the biggest thing, because her eyes are really lovely in this shot. Just like the direct eye contact with the camera, how big and sharp they are. They're really the focus point, like the main focus point. So I want them just to be a bit brighter and a bit sharper.
Mm-hmm. Allison brought up an interesting point. I didn't really notice it, that there's like a strange like yellow cast under her eye on the left, our left.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have cleaned that up a little bit. I also kind of wish, like, this is just like from wearing wigs, there's really nothing you can do about it afterward, but just like a good thing to keep in mind while you're shooting is like make sure like their eyes aren't being covered. I kind of wish that the hair covering the eye on the left was not as covered as it is right there, but again, that's something you can do now, but just for future shoots, be aware of it.
What kind of I would like to see with an image like this is the flowers as more of an enhancement to the image than feeling like it's blocking in the foreground her arms. Like I see that you have her posed with her hand out towards the flowers, crouched down. We lose that hand, and it just kind of feels like she's squatting in the flowers, whereas like maybe pulling back. I don't know what other shots you took, so this might just be the one that you chose to edit, but I would have liked to see one where you pulled back a little bit and she was maybe like had more of a pose where you could see like instead of kind of looking like she's hunched in the flowers, and you lose like her torso, you lose her hand and her arm. But I do love these colors. I think they're beautiful, and her brown eyes are just so lovely. I love that like all of the colors work together to work with the environment a little more.
They're striking.
Yeah, I totally will echo. I think like the flower thought is I think maybe if you even had her more centered in this photo, so like not even changing that much, if it was just more centered in this photo, so there was less overall flowers taking up this this shot, I think that would work. But yeah, I do think like there's just a bit, they become too much of the photo.
You know what else is really nice about this is the exposure. I think that she's got this white, and she's got this very pale, creamy skin, and you've got the sunlight hitting we've got all of this happening, but nothing is overexposed, nothing's overblown. It's great. It's a nice, even exposure.
Very balanced. I love it.
Yeah.
I think like now that I've been playing around a little bit with it, just to show how much this is super quick, but let's do that. I went in and did like a quick Photoshop on her eyes to like make them pop a little bit, and just based on like how much of like the focal point of this image, like you just spend like a teeny bit of time adding some contrast and brightening up the eyes, and I think this image sings even more. Like,
yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah, like it's amazing. It doesn't, they don't need all that much. Light? Yeah, I literally just here, if I turn this off and go like this was just me brushing stuff in like really quick on a layer on soft light. So that was super quick.
That is so cool.
I will share in chat my favorite tutorial, or not even necessarily tutorial, but guide on eyes. This is the one that taught me how to retouch eyes.
Well, that article, it's so good.
Yeah, it's about to change my life.
I've referenced this so many times. Like it changed the way I thought about editing eyes.
Cool.
Okay, there we go. Posted it in chat. It was super helpful. Hopefully you guys also get a lot of help for it.
Thank you. It's fun.
Okay. I think the other thing that I'd say with this, there's just like the I think the skin retouch is pretty good overall. But I think because the skin touch retouch is so good that like the texture's been cleaned up pretty good, but then not like the shadows, that the kind of the lines, I don't know what they're called, smile lines, are those smile lines? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Those areas jump out a little bit more to me than they normally would. So I'm not sure if I would totally get rid of them, but I would tone them down.
Agreed.
That's so funny. I disagree, but I do very, very subtle facial retouching, and I think that it adds this element of realisticness to her, that and a fullness to her face. But I don't know. I'm very much like a minimalist when it comes to facial retouching. Like I'll get rid of zits and like really bad eye bags, but that's about it.
I mean, I go hard on my retouching, so.
Yeah. So I mean, that's totally subjective again, but I like that it brings an element of realness to it.
There's also the areas where I would burn just a little bit underneath her eye. I don't know what the lines are called. I'll screen share it. They're just a little bit of brightness kind of running off from the corner of her eyes. Let me screen share again. These
the
specific
lower lash line?
No, these specific areas, there's a brightness to these that I would tone down. So like you can really notice it if I zoom out. You see kind of that white kind of how it's highlighted there.
Interesting.
I would
wait. Go back. I don't quite understand what you are pointing out.
So there's this specific area right here. That is
okay,
highlighted, and I would just burn that just to kind of
the glasses nose pad part. Thank you. Now you're speaking my language.
Yeah. So
evilness.
Yeah, I would just do a little bit of dodging and burning just to kind of even that out a little bit. That's pretty nitpicky though.
Okay, cool. My only real like beef with this is that yellowy shadow we talked about.
I know. I can't unsee it now.
Yeah, it vaguely looks like she like a bruise. That's why it's like a little.
You know what would also been cute is like maybe if she were like lifting like because we lose her arms and hands completely, but like if she were just kind of like lifting up like her bang a little bit, like and peering at you, like that would have been cute. But she's adorable. I love this model.
Okay, you guys got any other thoughts on this one before we move on to the next shot?
No, thank you for sharing. It's pretty.
Pretty, yeah.
Okay, and this next one is the last photo of the critique, and this one is from Alex and Sarah. I believe you were up on this one.
Yo, where were these Christmas photos during the Christmas critique?
Right?
Dude. So I think this is a cute concept, like taking these, like setting up your own like Christmas like setup in your house and like kind of taking advantage of that and then putting the character in their Christmas outfit. I always love these like festive holiday photos. I always think they turn out super cute. I do think though, like conceptually, I think it was a good idea, but I think the execution is a little poor. Like one of the things that kind of bothers me is the shoe boxes under the tree. If you're gonna like create, or if you're gonna make the effort of creating this, like, I mean, this could have been shot in the summer, but if you're gonna like set up your own little like studio setup, sort of like in your living space, like you gotta like take every component into consideration and just like take it there. I would have wrapped those boxes, like even if they're empty, who cares? Like it just seems kind of weird to see like a bunch of empty, or like maybe empty, I don't know, shoe boxes, because also like you can see all the brand labels on it. And it ends up just kind of being like visual noise, but like in a bad way. The same goes for like, this is kind of picky, maybe not, I don't know. I don't like the books on the bookshelf. I actually would have taken those off and replaced them with other Christmassy like. You don't like
the manga in the photos?
I like the Dr. Seuss book.
Yeah, don't like the manga in the photo.
Yeah, Black Butler, cool. It's okay, but it's like everything is kind of like
I agree.
in the same focus. So it's like everything is like in focus. So it's kind of like we have the books that I can read the titles on. I can read the shoe boxes. The models also like focused. It's like, you know, there's just like there's no depth of field. So it's like if you were working with a lens where you're not able to work with a lower depth of field, like that's fine. But like just make sure that like the other components in the background that are going to be in focus are intentional. Yeah, I don't know. If you're gonna do Christmas, like take it there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, Chad is killing me right now.
Inuyasha.
I love Japan. Period. I think my biggest thing is like the lighting is one of the weaker aspects to this photo, and I feel like Christmas is one of the areas you can get away with. Christmas photos you can get away with really simple, easy, and fun lighting by using Christmas lights for lighting. Right now, this just kind of feels like you got your standard, like you could have just shot this with the living room lights on. It doesn't really feel like that the lighting is anything other than like the lighting in the room. I feel like really turn down the lightings in the room, have the lights on the tree, have her like, you know, being lit or like maybe holding some Christmas lights, kind of similar to like how Ustav's photo in the very beginning of the critique was with those Christmas lights. I think that's what can a really simple and thematic way of adding really interesting light to a photo around Christmas time.
Her expression is like super cute though. I'm all about this. Like, I don't know this character. I don't know why she's pink. But I do like that she's got this like mischievous little like sexy nymphy like smile going on. But I would have loved to just, if you're gonna do a Christmas photo, like play with it a little bit more, like for the effort of like making a set, wrap the presents or take them out. And I would have angled it so that you did not have the bookcase in the background, because I don't think it adds to what you're trying to do.
I think the other thing for me is like, I think one of the details I love the most about this is the characters' horns have the
I know,
Christmas lights on them.
That's cute.
But like I didn't notice them until like after looking at this photo for a very long time, and I feel like just because of where they're located in the shot with the tree behind her, like I can't notice those, and I would love for those to just be a bit more visible.
Yeah, I know. We do lose that a little bit, and that's a very cute detail that brings out, you know, the character. So
my general feeling about this too, if you're gonna take the time to like set up for like she's gonna paint herself pink, so like that's a time consuming you know, effort, that if you're gonna do that you might as well commit to wrapping a couple presents while she's painting herself pink.
While she's busy painting herself pink, wrap some presents. It's the least you could do. She's painting herself pink.
Yes.
Also, I would just shoop out the bra poking through. Looks like, and that would be something I would fix.
Yeah, I don't know how you, that would be I feel like just based on things, unless you could like shift the biggest thing, if you're gonna edit that, I would try and shift the like furry part over, because
you could just clone that furry part over there.
That's definitely what I would do.
Clone that furry. It's fine.
Guys, got any other thoughts on this one?
No.
Good.
Cool. Okay. And that is the final shot of the critique. Thank you everyone who submitted photos for this critique. It's always a pleasure to be able to do this, and hopefully the feedback you get from this is solid and you enjoy it. And we couldn't do this critique without you guys submitting photos. So please keep those photos coming in. One of the hardest parts about this is getting enough photos to do this constantly. So one of the biggest helps that you can do is keep on submitting photos. So if you enjoy this, one, tell your friends to submit photos, but also just you submit photos. Like, everyone submit photos. It'll be a great time. Promise. And then thank you, Riley, for being on the show again. It was awesome having you back. Your feedback is awesome, and we love having you.
Seriously, you are such a gem.
Thank you, guys.
We don't deserve you.
No, stop. I'm excited to see what everyone creates. Next weekend at Katsu or Anime Milwaukee or wherever the hell you guys are that you're shooting.
It's gonna be
good luck to
it's gonna be a big cosplay weekend coming up real soon here.
I know you're probably gonna see a lot. You're gonna see my laying down on the floor shots on your critique. I'll be like, there we go. We're on the floor.
Good luck to all the cosplayers that are watching this and haven't been chatting because they're too busy rushing to finish up their cosplays.
Yeah, but take care of yourself, y'all.
God bless you. Godspeed, and
drink some fucking water.
Yeah, drink water. Stay hydrated. Don't die, please.
Don't die.
Yeah, take care of yourself.
Yeah. Well, this was fun. Thank you guys for having me again.
So Riley, where can people find your work?
I'm on Instagram at Chez Photo Cosplay, and that's mostly where you can see all of my new work. I haven't updated my website in forever, but my website is chezphoto.com, where you can see portraiture as well as cosplay. And mostly Facebook and Twitter is not where you can really see most of my work, so Instagram is the way to go. Oh yeah, and I'll be posting.
Oh yeah, her blogs. Yes, her blogs are great. Oh my god, I forgot.
I haven't seen any of her blogs.
Yeah, they're great.
After every con, that kind of just highlights a sample of the clients that book with me. So I don't usually edit all of them, but it's kind of like photographer's choice. I'll go home, and if I'm not completely dead, after the first day, I'll be like, oh, this one I'm really excited about. So I'll just edit
it's
10
so
to 15.
Good. I love reading them.
Thank you. I'm glad that people read them. I'm I don't know if anyone reads these. But
it's always hard too, because I've gotten comments from people about these videos. They're like, "Oh my god, I love your critiques," and I'm like, "I've never seen you in chat or anything, but I'm so glad you're enjoying these. It's hilarious to me." You forget.
This is great what you do. I think I learned a lot tonight too. I'm definitely bookmarking this f-stoppers thing, and I'll be hitting you up for some more facial retouching advice, because I definitely have a very minimalist approach, and sometimes it's out of choice, but other times it's I don't think I want to fuck with this now.
No, totally. I feel you there. Also, a side note to Ara, we need to start a GoFundMe so I can go to YetiCon.
Dude,
where is it? Where is it?
That looks rad. It was in Canada, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the one that looks like Colossal, but it's
in Canada.
Yeah.
I want to do that.
Yeah, it looks dope.
All of us should go.
Yep, I just need to GoFundMe so I can get there.
Fun.
No, don't do a GoFundMe. Just if you want me to go to YetiCon, give me them donations and subs to Twitch or something.
Oh my god.
So do other things. Sarah, where can people find your work?
Instagram. I literally don't post on Facebook anymore. Please don't message me on Facebook. I will not see it until 20 years later.
Mood.
Message me on Instagram or tweet at me.
So you can find my work on Facebook at Vontography, on Instagram at Vontog, and obviously you're already here, but on Twitch at Vontography. So I would mention upcoming cons. That's usually the thing, but I feel it's pretty clear that both of you are KatsuCon bound.
Yeah, if anyone wants to meet up, let me know. My shoots are done by 3, but I'd love to meet up with people. I'm trying to be more social at cons, because usually I would just book, and then I would just book it to my hotel room and not leave. So I'm really trying. I know that one of the earlier questions was like, what are your New Year's resolutions? Like Happy Lunar New Year. And mine was to kind of get to know other people, outside of strictly like professional shooting. I'd love to get to know you. So hit me up on Instagram. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. And Sarah also likewise going to Katsu.
On a Katsu, but I'm mostly cosplaying. I'm not doing a lot. I didn't book any shoots. Like I'm not shooting anyone, so trying to make it more chill.
So I will not be at KatsuCon this year, which is a bummer, but it was me being smart about my life choices. So I'm bumming a little bit, but I can't feel too bad because I will be at Anime Milwaukee that same weekend. So if you are going to be at Anime Milwaukee, feel free to hit me up. I'm actually booking a few last minute spots. So if you're looking for a photographer, I'm keeping it pretty limited in terms of how many spots I'm booking. So if you want to get on that and you're listening, book that now because they're probably going to be gone in like a day or two. But if you're interested, those are there. Or if you just want to meet up with me there, let me know. I'll be around on pretty much all of Friday and all of Saturday.
So this is like way in the future, but I'm attending my first West Coast Con this year.
Anime Expo?
Oh, fuck that. No, I would die. Going to Fanime with Mason Hikari Photo and Topher. Oh my god, what's his?
Oriole?
What is it?
Topher Oriole?
Topher Oriole? Yeah. And then and also Joe Schmo.
Fun.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
I've never been to a West Coast Con, so I'm curious about your feedback once you go.
I told myself I had to go.
The funny thing is I've shot cosplay on the West Coast, but never gone to a con on the West Coast. But
Sarah, are you booking shoots for this con, or are you just going for funsies?
Going for fun.
Yeah, we'll have fun at Fun.
Like, I don't know how to at a con that I've never been to before. I mean, I'll have my things, but I'm not booking it.
Fanime is a con that I've always like eyeballed and thought would be great, but it's like the weekend after ASEN, so it's just like, Well, especially when I was still doing Colossal.
And a week before Colossal. That's literally why.
Yeah. So, shout out to Pyrofly if she's around at all, because she's the crazy person that did back to back weekends of Anime Central. And then Fanime, and then Colossal Con.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, she did that. Like, I think that was 2 years ago, and I was just like, I don't know.
That makes me want to go to bed just thinking about that.
I know.
So, our next critique will be on February 21st. So right after KatsuCon. So, you guys, once you go to KatsuCon or Anime Milwaukee, get those edits done quick and get a photo in. That'll be the goal. I want to see a ton of KatsuCon photos in that critique. I cannot wait. And that will be with Con Mom Photography. It'll be awesome having her back. She was our second guest on the show, so it'll be awesome having her back. Thank you to the audience for being here, chatting along with us. You guys help make this an awesome experience. Love you guys for asking questions during the Q&A and critiquing along with us. It makes this so much fun to do. If you are enjoying your time here, I kindly ask that you consider either leaving a donation or giving a sub. Both of those are greatly appreciated and help us keep doing this. If you have Amazon Prime, that means you have Twitch Prime, which gives you 1 free sub per month. So if you have Twitch Prime and you're not using your sub, why not consider giving it here? Because otherwise you're just letting that money go away.
Don't give it to the man.
Yeah. Amazon's giving you essentially a free $5 to give to whoever you want a month. So if you please, if you have Twitch Prime, I don't even necessarily care if you're using it for me, although I would appreciate it, but like use it, because like otherwise that money is just going to waste and you're giving it back to Amazon. Just give it.
Don't let Amazon have that.
Yeah.
Don't let Amazon have that.
And if you don't have money to the ability to share or support us in a monetary form, the biggest thing that everyone can do for this show is to share it and let people know, both both social media, but we know how far that goes these days, and in person. Like, just let people know. Let your other photographer friends know about this. Tell them, encourage them to submit a photo. Tell other cosplayers about this. That's, I think, honestly, where sharing's going to go the furthest. So if you could do that for us, we'd hugely appreciate it, and we'd love you for doing so. And with that, I think we are ready to wrap it up for the night. Thank you guys
Good night,
again.
everyone. Thank you.
And we'll see you all soon on the 21st. So have fun at for all of those of you who are going to be at cons in the upcoming weekends. Have a blast. Stay safe.
You see us, say hi.
Yeah, say hi to us. We're don't be a stranger.
Yeah.
Good night, everyone.
Night night.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Yay!
Oh, nope.
Success.
I didn't mute the
Play
mics.
Kingdom
Oh, God.
Hearts